I'll tell you what though, what I do like about
Level 1. Rhythm.
I'm gonna make it last. I give it to you right, girl, whenever you want. So come on, girl, let me take you to another world. You're the one that I love, ain't no other girl.
Die for you, cry for you. This is what I can't deny. Die for you, cry for you. Please don't say goodbye. Die for you, cry for you. This is what I can't deny. Die for you, cry for you. Please don't say goodbye.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Never say goodbye, I'ma die with you. I hate it when you sigh, cause I cry with you. See, I never say goodbye, I'ma die with you. I hate it when you sigh, cause I cry with you.
Say it. Say it. BCP Dig 4.
Woo!
What's up, my players? How you doing? Sorry for the huge delay. Welcome once again to another episode of Gaming Treble. I am one of your hosts, Torrent Hudson, also known as Hud Zero, aka the Iron Heart of Xbox, aka the Old School Gamer, and we have an awesome show for you. We are right now, 25 episodes in? 25 episodes. Can you believe that? 25 wonderful episodes, and right now we are edging our way to 130 subscribers, give or take. And we are pushing. Right now we're pushing for, get this, 500 subscribers. Can we do that before the holiday? Can we actually make it? We don't know. But all we know, it takes you, the players, right now. But first, I want to introduce you to my awesome panel. And then I'm going to start with the man himself, the Neon Samurai. The one who is guaranteed to put you into a chokehold and make you tap out. He's all about the action and also the RPGs and the JRPGs. He is the one and only, the Samoan brother from another mother, Tony San Miguel.
What's up, players? Nate, we're going to be talking SEGA. This is where I cut my teeth. Where I first got the game. SEGA is back from a long nap, and we're ready to have some fun. Let's get the show started, baby.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, the man, the ladies' man, the one who's all about the collectibles. He is the cosplayer god himself. He is always about getting those achievements. He is the achievement master. And of course, I know he's going to be getting that extra 1,000 on his gamer score. He is the one and only John Elisea.
what's going on, players. Well, I think tonight's episode is going to be great. We're going to be talking about SEGA. And what's crazy is that Shinobi Art of Vengeance came out today. And also they got the open beta for SEGA Sonic Racing Crossroads. There's a beta out there for free if you haven't tried it, so check it out. So, without further ado, let's get this started.
Yes, sir. But first, we are going to get into the gaming spit because there has been a few things that actually kind of flew around lately. Once Johnny already mentioned just now, Sonic Racing Crossworlds is out right now, open beta. You can download it now for free. Try it out this weekend. It is open from today on until September 1st. So why don't you go ahead and jump on? You might be able to jump on with me. But just to forewarn, you have to go through the single player first. You have to go through all the races in single player before they unlock the online racing. So it gives you a little bit of time to kind of cut your teeth a little bit, get used to controls, find out who your character that you really enjoy. Me personally, I mean, I chose between Shadow and my man Tails. Miles per hour, my man. So, why don't you go ahead and jump on and have some fun? I did. You know, if you missed it, I had a little bit of a 2-hour stream. There was a little bit of hiccup in the beginning, but after everything was smooth, I was having a great time. And then, of course, I learned a couple of tricks, tips and tricks from my good old son because, you know, he's all about that racing stuff. So, hey, you know what? I'm going to get back on tonight, and then I'm going to go for that A rank. I'm going for that A rank, baby. So, besides that, let's go into some bitter news. I just found out through Johnny that Mortal Kombat 2 is being delayed.
That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, they were hyping up this movie. They had one of my buddies, Uncounted Carlos, was testing for it, and it looks like there's some positive takes and reviews on it. And a lot of people saying that it's proven over the first one, and they were all hyped up for it. And now they pushed it back to May 26, 2026. I'm like, why? Like, what are you doing? Like the last MK movie came out back in 2021. So now they're waiting like 5 years. I mean, what's going on? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's odd to me. I mean, that just got out of the blue. I heard no word about this prior to today, and all of a sudden it just kind of popped up.
It just popped out on the entertainment side and put it up on his Twitter page. He had a poster with allow that on it, and it has I'm like, what the hell?
I think Boone posted it pretty much confirms it, man.
Yeah, If Boone is up,
I mean, all the news outlets already covered it. All the entertainment sites like Deadline.com announced it, and Hollywood Reporter, they all announced it. So it's legit.
Oh man, that's kind of well. Listen, I'm hoping that the delay is a positive one. Hopefully, it's just for polish. Hopefully, they didn't have to rewrite or anything or whatever. But because, I mean, certain things like that has happened, you know, whether an actor,
there was no reason for it. They didn't give no excuse on why they delayed it. So
interesting. That's very, very interesting. Well, you know what? Hopefully they get that ironed out. That would really help. Also, did we actually notice a couple of other things that popped up? You know, we had a delicious picture made by Lizard Cube themselves because they made both games, the Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and of course the.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Kitchen Sink.
Kitchen Sink
was the one that did Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. What they did was that they collaborated with Lizard Cube and SEGA approved it. They doing like a special bundle that you get a good price for both Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Adobe Art of Vengeance.
Oh,
like a bundle. That's what that was.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that was a collaboration. Very nice. Very nice. Let me see if I can bring that picture up because that looks pretty tasty.
The picture is and Joe together.
Oh my gosh! I mean, because when I saw that picture, I said, "Wow!" And Johnny, believe it or not, didn't you say that? Didn't you mention that when you watched? You said you hoped that you actually saw a cosplayer that actually wore the Hayabusa, cosplay, and you go in and it's Joe Musashi, cosplay, and you can do like a little like back to back.
No, the thing is that I was hoping to find a Rio Hayabusa cosplayer over at Anime NYC, but unfortunately that wasn't the case though. But I always had that in mind though. We've been asking for years that maybe a tease to have a guy cross Novi because I'm sure everybody would love to see that one day.
Oh, I would too. Yeah, because I'm still trying to find that picture. I should have saved it. It was actually on one of the tweets, and I think I have to scroll down, but I'll pick it up later. But it's really cool. If you can find it, if you find that picture, definitely plaster that around. I didn't get a chance to because I was actually out. But man, it looks sweet. It looked freaking sweet. And I said, imagine that. Imagine if they actually did make a game that actually had Ryo Hayabusa and you know, and
I put it in the chat. I put it in the chat already. So if you want it,
oh, good, yes, good. So let me
put it in the chat already.
let me see. If
Yeah, it's both Kenshin and Joe together. Because remember, you're not playing Hayabusa and
you playing as his disciple.
And he used to play Ramon, from the Black Spider-Man game.
Wow, that's pretty. You know what though? It's the year of the ninja, man. It's the year of the ninja. I can't deny it. You really can't.
Yeah, plus we got Ninja Gaiden 4 coming out in October. So.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Ninja Gaiden 4, I heard a rumor that they said they're going to have a test run you might be able to sign up for. So if you actually are an influencer, you might be able to get an opportunity to give it a shot, give it a playthrough.
Well, for Ninja Gaiden 4?
Ninja Gaiden 4, yeah. So
really?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that's true. I've been hearing that from insiders. So if that happens, oh my gosh, I want to get in. I want in on everything, believe it or not. But alas, I didn't. Maybe because I'm a small, rinky-dink little channel. But we are growing. Hey, you never know. Hey, it's happened. Heck, it even happened to smaller channels. So we'll see. We'll find out. But I just want to give a massive shout out to my wonderful sponsor, Mr. W. My pals at W. They actually my tub my tub should have been here today, and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to talk to you guys, but I'm pretty sure it should be shot hopefully tomorrow, because I talked to somebody and they said that yes, it's supposed to be guaranteed to come within the next 12 hours. That was actually earlier this morning. So hey, if it comes, I'm definitely going to be showing it off on Sunday, so you guys get to see it yourself. I'm going to share those little packets to my buddies so they can try it out, and if they like it and they love it, they're going to get some more of it. And I am actually going to enjoy the heck out of it myself. So far, I've been hearing nothing but positives. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, since it was actually a very short week and not really much to talk about except for some amazing games coming out, let's get right into it. SEGA! My buddies at SEGA, they are back. I'm sorry, I'm shedding a tear. I can't do it. I'm emotional. It's just. I can't.
Yeah, come. Stop it.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Hey, I like SEGA. Okay, come on.
Oh, SEGA. I can't do it.
Do I have to go over there? They can go over there.
Okay. Hey. Listen, I'm a good boy. I'm good. Okay, but SEGA was after my heart. SEGA was after my heart since the arcade. The arcade is where they got started, and the arcade is actually where they built it. They built the arcade. They were a pillar, and everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. And then when they brought some of these arcade classics home, and kept some of that raw arcade gameplay, they didn't really do many changes, believe it or not. I mean, most of the games they brought home, they try to stay pure to the arcade experience, and they rarely change it. And that's what's so awesome about them.
Technology too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
That's
They
how
were
they're-
pioneers.
yeah.
They were
That's a
pioneers.
decent support total for like a system that's not as powerful as an arcade machine, you know?
Exactly. I mean, think about
That's
the Sega.
genius.
But they port those games very well, though.
Very well. You know, the Sega Master System, believe it or not, was a powerful kit. It was. I mean, you know, I
It
mean,
is.
Street Fighter 2. It plays Street Fighter 2.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they
It's on 16-bit systems.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the U.S. didn't stay alive. Other places in Europe, they got Sega Master System was strong over there.
Europe, Asia,
Asia,
South
South
America,
America,
got to see a lot more games than we did with Sega.
They did.
I'm a little jelly. I'm a little jelly about about those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Family all over the world, so it's great.
Oh, of course.
Easy to get copies back then.
Nice.
Or I just play when I visit them.
Ha! So
There you go.
let's start with just that. The arcade origins. Arcade origins. Let's go right into it. So Sega, I believe one of their first games was I believe it was Alex Kidd. Alex Kidd was actually one of their first releases. And believe and the thing about Alex Kidd, this was like around the time where Mario was kind of like, you know, hanging around. You know, Mario Brothers with their nice platforming, you know, easygoing, family-oriented type of gameplay. Hey, you know what? It was hard. It was a hard game. One-hit kill. And it's easy.
Like a lot of games back then.
Yeah, but no. But you don't understand. But you don't understand.
They were. You gotta be very cautious.
Unforgivingly hard.
Yeah, man.
Unforgivingly hard. And also, unlike Mario, it was more of a horizontal and vertical gameplay. So you actually are, you know, playing the game, you know, going down in certain areas, going up in certain areas, flying vehicles, you know, dealing with all these different power-ups.
I've got to interrupt for a second with an Alex Kidd fact.
Oh, talk to me.
Not many people know this one, but that was supposed to be Goku. The Alex Kidd game was supposed to be a Dragon Ball game before Sega lost the rights. I'm talking this like what, 89, maybe earlier.
Wow.
This is
Way early.
Yeah, no Super Saiyan or something like that. This is well before that.
Right.
They just swapped out his punch. They swapped out the powerful punch, and they changed his haircut, obviously. Yeah. And then later on during development, since they lost the Dragon Ball license, they started thinking about Mario. How can we be better than the Mario games? Which involves your vertical and horizontal gameplay. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
That's
Good interruption.
No.
I love those. That's where they connect.
So,
Yeah.
hey,
This was verified by a developer. By one of the developers.
the more you know. Boom, boom. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get these sound effects working. I gotta get these working. I get the soundboard working. If I get the soundboard working, I think I could be able to get the fun little sound effects in the background or something like that. But once I do, I think I have the G.I. Joe one. Now I know, and knowing is half the battle. So I'm
That was a good one to put on there.
yeah, exactly. So
Can I bring on my Hit with the World and Full Metal Jacket ones?
oh yes,
Johnny says, oh boy.
I know something good ones. I know there's some figure lines of mine I like that movie, but unfortunately can't stay here on YouTube.
No. I'm not going to play those here. You get the joke.
Oh no, I do. Man. or maybe if we actually get some people on our Patreon, we can actually be able to do some videos that we can actually kind of do some more.
Yeah, we can do it on Rumble, we can do it on Vocals.
Exactly.
locals in trouble, we can get away with that.
Absolutely.
Those will be called Treble Unleashed.
Right.
That's
I think
right.
that's a good name for that. Yes.
What do you think, Chad? What do you think, Chad? You know, we should. Do you think we should do a Treble Unleashed? I'm pretty sure. Are you willing to actually get part of our secret club and everything to actually watch us go just full on raw and pause, and we can actually talk about a whole bunch of things without any filter. If you actually want some of that, let us know. Oh yeah.
People come say we have punch and pie.
Punch and pie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
can't have it on YouTube, but we can have it there or locals or any of those channels. So.
Indeed. So if you like some of that thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you can actually keep up with all of our shenanigans. And of course, if you join our Patreon and we get enough people, we are going to probably do what you would call Gaming Treble Unleashed. I'm actually going to make a graphic for that, and we are going to go all out. No holds barred. No words filtered. We're going all in. Pause. And that, it's gonna be great. So, but getting back to Sega and their arcade roots, Sega actually was all about originality. They know exactly how to get people excited, especially when it comes to the arcade. The what do you call it? The crowd noise and all that stuff. The little demos that they actually have on their arcade machines. They're loud. You just know it's Sega. And when you hear or anything like that, oh my god, the words and stuff like that, you know it's Sega. And power up. Come on. You know it's Sega.
Imagine your neighbors when you make these noises. I hope your windows closed, bro.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man.
Oh, another fun. Oh well, hey, listen. Oh yeah, the police is knocking the door. Open up! It's the police. Oh man, but yeah, man, Sega is all about it. So let's talk about some of our favorites. Let's talk about some of our favorite arcade experiences. I can spit out like a whole line of them, but I'm not gonna be greedy. I like to share the floor. So let's start with one arcade game in particular. Let's talk about Altered Beast. Now, Altered Beast. That is like a side-scrolling action beat 'em up game, simplistic but also difficult. You have 3 power-ups. I'm sorry. You get 3 power-ups, to build yourself large. You know what we used to call them? We used to call it big balls of steroids. They got the juice. They got the juice. They got juiced up. They're juiced, man. And then of course you get to turn into a hairy beast and everything when you actually get your 3rd power up. So, and every single stage is a different beast. So in the first stage you actually are the wolf. 2nd stage you turn into the dragon. 3rd stage you turn into the bear. 4th stage you turn into the tiger. I believe the 5th stage, you turn into the golden werewolf. Yes, the golden werewolf. Yes, and that last stage is so unfairly hard. It really is, because they come out of everywhere, and you really have to stay on your toes. And if you miss your power up once. That means if you don't get all 3, because you can easily miss it, because those shiny little beasts that come out of nowhere, they'll pounce you, and you'll miss the opportunity to be able to hit it and actually turn it into a power up. And if you do, guess what, sirs and everyone else, you are going to have a hard time on the 2nd go round. So you hope against hope that you get all 3 the first time around. Because if you miss it, then you might as well just turn the game off and start it off. But then again, I've seen some miracle gameplay. I don't know how. Oh, there he is! The bear!
That's the bear.
Look how fuzzy he is.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Fear the bear. Fear the bear.
Yeah.
If you don't subscribe, fear the bear.
He'll breathe on you and turn you to stone.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then he'll pounce you, and he'll flip around and pounce you. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. He will do the bear tumbler on you. The bear tumble.
That entire move is invincible. You don't get hurt when you do it. It's awesome.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is.
Of course.
Man, but yeah,
He
man.
just walks.
I
He just walks
cheat the
on
boss
the
man level with that.
Oh yeah, that's what you have to do. You just have to go. You just have to go on his thing.
Yeah, you know. You remember.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. But I tell you what though. I mean, I ain't gonna laugh. I do laugh though. Every time when the bear walks, he does kind of walk funny though.
Oh, but that is true.
Oh yeah.
But he's quick.
He walks like an old school like Disney character.
Yeah.
His arms and elbows.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting fact, and nothing I might as well throw out there. Because we're gonna talk about another game because we had to celebrate Shinobi all week long, but we have to bring it back to our old guy. We got talked about Joe Masashi, his young, awesome self. When he didn't even need a mask. He's like, listen, I'm going ninja skills on you, and I don't even need a mask.
He doesn't even wear a mask.
He doesn't even wear a mask.
And the title screen, they show him wearing a mask.
Which is funny. Yeah, no, it's funny too, right? I was kind of confused about that. When I played the game, I was like, wait a minute, hold on. He has no mask on. You know? And believe it or not, his power up is a machine gun. So, makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, though. Were they thinking about making it into another game? You know, like it was a game before they actually decided to say, "Hey, no, let's do ninjas," or do
I was saying to myself though, this is ninja. Then when I saw Joe Masashi use the machine gun, I was like, okay, why is he having a machine gun? Because when I was a kid, I said to myself that wait a minute, ninjas don't use guns. So. I think kind of confused me was Joe Masashi was it military before? Or you got
the storyline sounds like
you know, I'm thinking
he's saving hostages. Like they were even in the instruction book there was like hostages of like foreign diplomats or something. That was the storyline. So I think it might have been like a spy action game versus and then they were like, okay, you know, let's make him a ninja.
Yeah,
they changed him to sprite a little bit. You know, that might explain why there's a mask. And then how are you gonna put a sprite mask on that little head? That's right.
I'm, you know what? I mean, I have a theory. This is a theory. I have a feeling because I mean, around this game came out around the same time Rolling Thunder did, and Rolling Thunder was a spy espionage type of game, and I'm thinking that maybe Sega found it to be too similar, and maybe they decided, oh, you know what? What do they don't have? Ninjas. What if we actually made it into a ninja? You know, with Ninpo magic. Now that was a first. Ninpo magic was like a screen clearing special move, which is can only use once per stage, which is actually kind of messed up in a sense, but still, exactly. But still pretty awesome. So if you don't use Ninpo magic, you actually earn a nice, sweet 10,000 points to add to your score. So you get a nice little bonus, you know. And I tell you what, this game Shinobi was like one of my favorite childhood games, just to kind of throw quarters in. But here's the thing, in the arcade, you actually had unlimited continues. You could be able to pop your coins in as many times as you want. At home, they don't give you any quarter. They say, with 3 continues. That's it. They only
Well, here's
give
the
you
thing.
three.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, because the arcade version, if you get hit once, you're dead. But at the Sega Master System, you got a life bar, so they'll give you a chance though.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Master System actually had the life bar, right? And then they have different weapons too, like nunchucks, and I think it was something else. You get to play.
Yeah, they do a little bit. They add a little bit more to it though.
Like weapons and all that stuff. I think that was like only one of the only games that they actually changed the arcade version. It was actually only one. And I think the second game that they changed, I forgot which one it was. I think it was Time Soldiers. I think Time Soldiers.
That game was so much fun.
Yeah, hard too. Time Soldiers was hard.
Yeah.
You know,
2 players, man.
and it was
Like co-op buddies.
2 players simultaneous, and it also had the rotating controller like too, so you could actually be able to shoot up, down, left, and right, and the thing behind you. So, speaking of which, you know, because we had an episode about controllers, why this was such a missed opportunity. Why did they not make a home version of that? You know, because playing games like Ikari Warriors, playing games like Heavy Barrel, you know, Ikari 3, and all those games. But yeah, here's another one. Midnight Resistance. That's another game. That game was it's really difficult. It's really difficult without that, but somehow they managed to bring it home. But it's not the same. It really isn't. Because there are some parts that you literally have to shoot behind you as you walk, as you're going forward.
Right.
You know, and if you don't have the controller right, or you have the direction right, that's you behind. That's it. That's messed up, man. But anyway, I digress.
There
you go. See, games like that encourage.
Silver lining to me.
Yep. Sega was all about the team play. Sega was all about 2-player games. How many games did they actually come out with that had a 2-player simultaneous type of gameplay? I think it was Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Aliens Syndrome. Oh, there's another game. Alien Syndrome.
I love that game so much. Yes.
Okay, now that was around the time where Alien or Aliens was actually released. So Sega was Sega.
Oh yeah, of course. There was no doubt about it.
Sega was really into.
There was xenomorphs there. You shot him. You shot that elongated head.
Yeah. You know, here's a funny thing. I always think about this because Sega always had the pulse when it comes to movies and entertainment. They had the pulse, you know. Nintendo. They were all about, you know, their kids, you know, kiddie games and all that stuff. Yeah, we get it. And they did have some awesome games too, like Castlevania. Come on, you can't you know. And
which Castlevania?
Okay, Castlevania 1, the first Castlevania. Hard. And Castlevania 3. And Castlevania 3. No. I'm just saying, Nintendo brought Castlevania and all that stuff, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, they bought what it was with Nintendo during that time is that they were buying the rights. They were telling like all these companies like Capcom, Konami, that's telling them you can't release games on Sega's Master System. That's one of the reasons why the Master System is well in the States, because of that.
Yeah. Nintendo was all about monopoly. Nintendo was all about monopoly. They actually blocked them from releasing games in any store like KB Toys. They weren't allowed to have anything Sega. They said, okay, well, you know what, we're gonna sell our games. If you want our console in your store, you can't have any Sega products. And I thought Sony was so hard to find.
That's why Sega was so hard to find.
Yeah,
that's why the Master System didn't like last as long. I to be honest with you, when I was a kid, when I used to go to KB Boys, all those other places, I would see Nintendo Entertainment Systems, I would see Game Boys, but I wouldn't see any see any Sega Master Systems. But then when the Genesis came out, yeah, they were in the stores.
Oh,
So
yeah, they were.
there was no way Nintendo was going to be able to block that. Sega just gave Nintendo the middle finger at the time. They said, yeah, you block our 8-bit system, but you're not going to block our big new 16-bit system.
And Sega went hard against Nintendo because Nintendo was very underhanded. They really were. I mean, listen.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for making those commercials against the Genesis does with Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them for putting those commercials out there.
And they had to. They had to. They really had to send a message.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. That's when the console wars truly began. Because
that's right.
around that time, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Atari and Commodore, yeah, okay, no, that's a kiddie show." This was war. Nintendo and Sega, that was a war. It was a war for your dollars. It was a war for the attention of the kids. It was a war for the attention of the adults. Right. Sega went after more of the teen and young adult crowd. Nintendo was going after the kids and the younger crowd. So they had their niche, both of them. But Sega. Yeah, go ahead.
We gotta keep Sega. Bring it to the arcade. Here's an Alien Alien Storm.
Oh yes, Alien Storm.
How much money do you have with this thing?
So
well, I could think of other games too, like Space Harrier.
Oh yes, Space Harrier.
Yeah.
You know how innovative and different that was back then. That kind of play, it was amazing.
That wasn't good. I forgot what it was called. I forgot what kind of scrolling it was. It was called parallax scrolling or something. I think it was called
I think it was parallax. That's what we were calling it.
Yeah, it was more like it was a certain term. I forgot what kind of scrolling it is, but it's actually where you could be able to view actually comes to you. It's scaling. It scales towards you, like Afterburner.
Right.
Yeah,
like
Hang On.
Hang On.
Oh, Hang On.
Oh my God, Hang On, yes.
That was my listen.
These are games that you can play in Shifu though. Go to the arcade.
Yep.
Hang On's got a special spot in my heart. I used to play with my father. He'd kick my ass regularly by like literally hundreds of thousands of points. But yeah, they were fun memories.
The most proper way to play Hang On is on the bike. The bike where it actually has the motion. That's the proper way of playing that game.
Yeah.
And trust me, every single time I went to the arcade, I wanted to go and get on that bike, pop the quarters in, and I'll be like this, and I'll be like, and it was a blast. It makes you want to play again. Every single time I get on there, it's like that's your amusement park. That was my amusement park. See, whenever I went,
sprite scaling.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well,
sprite scaling.
Yeah.
Sprite scaling. There it is. Just thank you.
Your amusement park. Sorry.
Yeah, but that was my amusement park. Every single time I went to the arcade, jumped on, played Space Harrier. Space Harrier. That's another one. You sat down.
That's what I just said.
That's right. Yes. And of course, and Afterburner as well, and also Outrun. Outrun was another one with that. With the oh man, let me tell you, when it shakes every single time.
Yes. It did it with Afterburner too, man. You felt like you were actually in that play.
The rumble, man. Oh, so good, so much fun. Now
it's kind of hard for a little kid. I was a little kid, man. Shaking pretty hard, dude.
No, that's the way to do it.
That's why I felt like a real plane. I was like, wow, this must be what it feels like in real life.
But it was so fun, though. I mean, the arcade experience was bar none. Sega was the pioneers. Sega built that. They actually made that, and they owned the arcade. They really did. And some people don't believe it. Because it's but the simple games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, yeah, people like those games. Okay, I get that. But Sega always had those games that actually was like, whoa, I didn't know arcades could actually do that. That's what they were. You know? Come on. Everything's memorable. They had the license to Rambo, which was actually another great thing. You know?
Yep,
And,
yep.
yeah, man. Playing Rambo in the arcade, man. That's the way to play it, man. That really is. You know.
Oh man.
And the home version was different though. The home version was different from the arcade version. Obviously, you know, for the Genesis, it was actually more of a top-down type of game. And then you had a certain part where you actually were like third person, and you actually used a bow and everything to take out the helicopters.
That was Rambo 3, and it was awesome.
Rambo 3.
That was a badass game. That was
so good.
That was way better than that NES Rambo game. Oh my god, that game was terrible. And Genesis Rambo 3 made up for that.
And it was hard for no reason. The Nintendo version was hard for no reason at all. And, you know, and it was more...
It wasn't hard per se, you just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kept going all over the place.
Didn't tell you what you had to do.
Mm-hmm. It was
You
just...
just run around like a jackass, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You just have a little life, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. But you actually do get, I think you do get a gun later on, you know, but it's limited bullets. Yeah.
I didn't even bother playing it. I didn't bother playing it.
I think I remember calling, you know, I know it's digressing, but I remember calling the Nintendo hotline at them because I was stuck in a certain part, and I was like, where the hell am I supposed to go? I went into this woods and everything. Every single time I go in, I'm going to the same spot. I'm going in, and then I'm actually back to where I got started. What the heck am I supposed to do? You know? And the guy was like, "Oh, well, you gotten pretty far, so you know what? I'm gonna have to get you to one of the other guys." I was like, "What? You don't have that in your book?" Oh God.
Wow. You think they would though?
Yeah, I thought they would. I mean, they were made to actually help me, and then they had to pass me on to somebody else. Oh, yeah. So anyway, that was memories. But getting back to Sega, the good stuff. So yeah, so the Sega years. So what was the time? And I have to kind of put that. I want the chat to actually get involved too. What was the best time that you ever had with a Sega arcade game, and how many quarters, how many credits, now whether it's quarters, tokens, whatever, how many credits did you actually spend before you said, okay, I had enough? All right, go ahead and put your answers on in the chat. You got, I really want to know, because I have myself the high tens. I have myself the high tens and everything for how many quarters I actually put in. Yeah, there was a certain game that I actually just kept on popping quarters in, and it wasn't embarrassing at all, but it's just I just want to keep on playing, and it was that good. So
hoping to beat that game.
I wanted to beat that game so bad. Oh, here we go. We got some answers coming up. All right. Oh, he said there's an echo for Tony and Johnny. Oh, really? Another echo?
Really?
Another echo? Where? Oh, I don't see no. No, hold on. Let me check. Oh, no, that's off.
They hired Donald Dorian, I said.
Hey, Daryl! Dorian, what's going on, guys?
I just say hello, Daryl.
They stole that from South Park.
Oh, I see that.
That's like 10.
I see the reason why. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna fix that right now. But yeah, man. Here we go. Let me see. Let me see if we can get that going. Yeah, here we go. All right, talk again.
Yeah, Daryl said he hears it too.
Okay.
Oh,
Is it
just said it too.
Okay, is
All
it?
three, everybody said it.
Everyone said it? Okay. Do you hear it
They all
now?
said it.
Do you hear it now?
Okay, can they hear us? Are we echoing again?
Any echoes? Anybody?
I don't hear echoes though, but I want them.
Yeah.
Hear
Okay.
them
If they can hear it, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check on mine too.
Okay, so let's see. All right. You know what? It might be the mic. I think the mic is actually picking up a reverb. Okay, this is not as bad. Okay, so it's not as bad. All right, so Okay, well, I don't see nothing going on here. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm checking everything, and I've seen everything fine over here. So, I could change it to my other speaker, and maybe the reverb would go on.
Oh yeah,
what?
I hear it.
You hear the reverb?
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
No problem. No problem. It might be the mic. So I'm gonna change the mic right now. So keep on talking.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I know. Say, I'll tell you what are you gonna say about YouTube?
Nah, let's keep it cool. No, go on about Sega. Let's have some fun with it, brother.
I was gonna say though. I'll tell you what though. You know what? I think the reason they Nintendo fears Sega because when they saw their version of Double Dragon on the NES, and they saw the Sega Master System's version of Double Dragon, it was better because it had some like co-op. And I think that's when they decided to like have all these stores banned from selling their game systems.
You think that was it? You
Well,
think that's what
well, look at their versions. Their versions
Yeah.
were a little bit better. What do you think? Well, I mean, what do you think of it?
It's never really just one thing why they pull a move like that. I don't. To be honest, I can't give you an honest answer.
I think Nintendo was probably during that time was like they wanted to get more out of from Sega. They were willing to like put them down though, but they haven't successfully done it at that time though. But later on, like in the early 2000s, that's when everybody changed. But I don't want to get ahead of that just yet. So,
So
but
when we sorry, I was going back to the arcade thing. So what was your game? Mine was Shinobi at the pizza place down the street. It was awesome. I must have shoveled in about like I'd shovel in $5 a week probably easy. Yeah.
mine was like Shinobi, Shadow Dancer, and yeah, and also Golden Axe though. That was there as well though. The Golden Axe was like my jam. And
My
I beat
Sega
that game with
experience
one credit too. Golden Axe.
Oh, show off. That's badass.
Yeah.
No, when you figure out the AI, and when we were kids, we figured out the AI really quick in those games.
Yeah.
The pattern recognition we had as kids, we figured it out.
You could actually make the enemies look stupid. Like you could just actually like set them off because you say like if you're far away, right? You're far away from
They
the
charge
enemy, you're
at
by
you?
the edge, and they charge at you. You just go up and they kill themselves. They go right up. I used
do
to
that in the Turtle
die
all the
laughing.
time. Yeah, Golden Axe is
my
the other
ass
Sega
off.
arcade game.
Yep. I
So
laughed my ass off.
let me see.
And I'll tell you what, though, one arcade that I was very disappointed that never went to the States was I mean, well, it came to the States, though. I'm talking about like it never crossed the home system, and that's Golden Axe: The Return of Death Adler. Why did they not bring that game to the home system? Beats the hell out of me.
It might have been too big. That was a very complex game. The graphics, the sound, everything. And it was long. There was a lot of levels. Maybe home systems couldn't handle it.
Well, no, they had the Sega CD and they had the 32X, though. They could have put that on the system.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be arcade perfect, but it'd be a little bit close to it.
I was just playing devil's advocate there, but yeah, you know what? You did bring up some info that I wasn't thinking of. So yeah, you're right.
So
It was good though. That speaking of this, whoever can beat that on one credit, I'll shake their hand because that would be proud. That is hard. That game is ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
Especially
really
how
hard.
cheap Death Adder is. He's cheap, dude.
Oh, dude, forget about it.
hey, listen, Death Adder was actually I guess I mean cheap boss because he can use magic. One.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two for the fact that the skeletons keep on coming back until he's actually almost dead. Huh? What was that?
It took them so many times to knock out the skeletons.
Yeah.
It's like I keep knocking them down. It's like I keep in, but they keep coming back up, and you gotta stay on them for a long time. Otherwise, they just keep on coming, and then they distract you. That's what's annoying about it.
I think
Yeah, so I stopped messing around with them. I just went straight for Death Adder.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what?
no, I was like, get out of here.
If you're
Just
playing,
knock them out of the way and keep focusing on Death Adder.
Yeah.
if you're playing a 2-player game, if you're playing a 2-player game, what we do is, I always say, okay, let's take care of, let me take care of these guys, and you go after Death Adder, and Death Adder has similar moves that you do, and of course he also has that magic, and he can use that magic at any time, which actually sucks too.
Yeah, he would usually use that magic when he knocks you down. He knocks
Yep.
you down. That's what
Yes.
he uses.
Yes.
Yep.
Good luck getting a perfect no hit.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So, but
No.
Johnny, but you said it right though. I mean, not having the sequel come home is a travesty. The game looked amazing. Looked amazing in the arcade, and I was like, oh man, I wish they'd bring this game, especially when you use your ninja magic. Or ninja magic. When you use your potion magic, dude. You see the cinematics and stuff like that when you use the flames. Oh man, wild.
I'll tell you what though, and I'm pretty sure you guys knew this. I like the fact that Golden Axe they took screams and grunts from popular movies like Conan the Barbarian, Rambo, and
Yes, they did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that's when Goldthorpe fell off the helicopter, rightfully so. He was a jerk.
The Wilhelm was in there.
And also, but Rambo and Conan actually used a similar sound effect also when he gets impaled. Oh God! Yeah. Oh God! Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then also
I'm starting to think Death Adder is Shao Kahn's long lost cousin.
Oh yes. Well, maybe a distant cousin. Second, twice removed.
They go to the same. They go to the same gym in the same department store. So.
Hey, listen,
they
you
work
know
out
what?
at the same place and go clothes shop at the same place.
Hey, yeah. And they're big. They're big dudes. So there you go.
It's what's it called? It's like Jersey Shore, but other world.
You know what?
Outworld Jersey Shore.
I tell you what, they all get good helmets.
Shao Kahn, Jim Tan Laundry.
Yeah. But what I do like about Death Adder though is that when you're about to finish him off, you get to hear the Raphael scream. He says, "Damn!" Death Adder says that too.
Oh man.
Look it up too. After Glitch his Thunderhead, and then when he strikes him on the head, you get to hear the scream from one of the barbarians, from Conan the Barbarian, when he got impelled to his stomach. He's like, "Oh!"
Oh!
Yeah. And then he falls off the dragon. He falls off the dragon, and you hear Golf's falling, screaming. He goes,
Let me ask you something. When you guys got the home version, did you go to the options and play around with the sound effects just to hear those screams? Because we do it all the time, and we laugh at it the entire time.
Oh, but of course.
That's why I love the option screens, because you can hear the sound tests. The sound tests were always hilarious.
Yeah,
just hearing them out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Moving along though, let's go, from the wonderful one of arcade years, and of course we talked about some of the consoles. Now Sega Genesis. Let's get deeper into the Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis redefined the home console because they were one of the first that actually touted the 16-bit. And people were like, "Oh, but that's a TurboGrafx 16." I said, "No, TurboGrafx 16 was not 32-bit. It wasn't. They claimed that they were, but they weren't.
It wasn't really. No, it wasn't really dirty.
It wasn't really.
Worse.
You know.
And why weren't they TurboGrafx 32? Aha.
Yeah, but it wasn't 32. See, it wasn't even close. You know, heck, it was.
They're a really powerful 16-bit. That's it.
Yeah, very very powerful 16-bit, but it was actually two 8-bit processors. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was 8-bit for graphics, 8-bit for sound. So they split down the middle, and they claimed to be 16-bit, and it wasn't really. But they actually did it very well though, especially with those Hue cards. Those Hue cards actually held a lot of memory.
Yeah.
So
they had a lot of power to do. They had a lot of power in their game systems though.
Oh, no, that's true. That is so true. So, but the Sega Genesis, when the Sega Genesis first came out, they did the smart thing. They packaged with their Arcade Smash Altered Beast.
Right.
Yes.
Now, I remember when I actually went to one of the hardware stores, like a local one, and I was watching somebody play Altered Beast. The first thing that popped into my head was, how the heck did they get an arcade machine to play on a freaking screen? That was the first impression.
I remember you told me the story. You thought that was the arcade version, but it was really the Genesis version. I remember you said that.
Absolutely. And when I found out it was a console, I wanted my mother to buy me that console. And of course, you know what my mother told me. You have a Nintendo at home. That's all you need.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mom, you don't know how wrong you actually were. And I love you, Mama, I do. But you were wrong. You're wrong. In spades. And that's the reason why Sega actually came up with that commercial. You can't do this on Nintendo. And you can't.
Man, they were smart.
They were smart. Smart marketing. They were digging into their competition.
I'm actually impressed.
And listen, they got Tommy Lasorda, baseball.
Yeah.
Joe
Montana.
Not Joe Montana. No, Tommy Lasorda. Remember the baseball game? They had a baseball game.
Yeah. I'm bringing up another sports game.
Joe Montana. Yeah, of course. They got
Joe
Star Power.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, they had Star Power.
They got Joe Montana. They got. Don't forget Pat Riley's basketball.
Pat Riley.
Buster
and
Douglas.
Buster Douglas.
Beat Mike Tyson back
and Buster Douglas. That's right. Buster Douglas boxing.
Once Buster Douglas knocked out Tyson, Sega quick. Sega already knows Sega.
They hopped on that quick.
Yes, they did.
They had Michael Jordan. They had Larry Bird.
Yeah, Jordan versus Bird.
Yep.
Yeah, Sega was a sports guy system. If you like sports games, you had to get Sega. They played better on the Sega than the Super Nintendo.
Sega was all about the sports. They knew what kind of market they had to go after. And sports games, they knew how to do. All they did. They had the basketball. They had the football. They had the baseball. They had the golf. They had Arnold Palmer. Golf.
That's right, Arnold Palmer. I gotta forget him.
Yeah. They had the finger on the pulse when it came to sports. Sega was all about it. They were about it when it came to sports. And you know what? All my friends that actually were sports nuts had a Genesis. Just for that reason. They got a Sega Genesis. They knew what they were doing. And then, of course, if you're a fan of Fist of the North Star, and you are, the game Last Battle.
That's right.
Suppose that was actually Fist of the North Star, but they had to change the name because of licensing.
Right, because they didn't have the rights to the anime. But the problem with that game was that there was no blood war. because Kenshiro, what he did in the game, when he punched the enemy, the head explodes. But in last battle, the guy just like flies off the screen when he gets punched.
Yeah.
Now, here's
And
a
when
fun
there is
fact.
blood, it's like green.
Here's a
Yeah.
fun
Like
fact.
on a boss. When you beat a boss, the blood's like green.
Exactly.
Green or white.
Yeah.
The Genesis. I'm sorry. The Mega Drive version. The Mega Drive version. They actually brought all that stuff back, and it was literally Fist of the North Star. Right? Let's just put it that way.
It was Hokuto no Ken that they called
Kanoken,
it.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Hokuto no Ken.
Yes. So yeah. If you want to play the true definitive version of that game, you have to get the Japanese
Get
European
a copy of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just had to be, and and that's the funny thing.
And don't forget the Capcom arcade games that they also brought though. They brought Strider, they brought Forgotten World,
yes,
Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, yep, Ghouls and Ghosts. Yes,
Ghosts was an arcade perfect port to the Genesis.
Yeah,
it was arcade perfect.
Yes,
and Strider was good too. And
that was arcade perfect too. I don't know how they did it, but man, they nailed it with both of them.
Yeah, and don't forget Forgotten Worlds. That's another Capcom game.
Yeah, Forgotten Worlds too. Yes.
Strider was actually their first.
Well in the Genesis.
Strider was their first 8 meg cart. Strider was the first 8 meg cart. They could not bring that game home without adding some extra power into those cartridges, and they certainly did. They certainly brought it. And man, everyone was happy when they brought that game home. And people were like, but see, here's a funny thing too. When they actually got the licensing to bring those games as a licensed by SEGA, because that's what it said, licensed by SEGA. They Capcom was like pretty much in bed with SEGA. Actually, matter of fact, Capcom was riding hard with SEGA. They were.
Which is why I was wondering why it took so long for them to get Street Fighter 2. Than every other Capcom game except Street Fighter 2. So I don't know crazy clause or whatever.
We're talking Nintendo here.
Well, here's the thing. I think Nintendo was the one that struck a deal with Capcom to put Street Fighter 2 to them first, and then they had to wait almost like a year later for the Championship Edition. So
it's kind of like what they did with Final Fantasy and the Xbox.
Okay,
right. Well, here's Final Fight though. Look at Final Fight that went on the Sega CD, but I don't want to get ahead of the Sega CD, but I'm just throwing some examples right there.
Well, here's the thing, and I've done a little digging. Nintendo struck a deal with Capcom. The reason why is because they wanted to utilize the power of the console. So what do? They actually leveraged the power of the Super Nintendo, and they ported an arcade-like version of Street Fighter 2. Now, the reason why I say like is because certain animations got scaled back because of memory restraints. For instance, Guile did not have his flip. He only jumped straight. He didn't flip when he exactly.
Also, when they're moving backwards either.
That's true.
The same.
That's true too.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and also the win loss screen. There was no animation. So when the countdown happened, everything it only showed like a still, like a graphic still. So there was memory limitations, but it was close enough to garner about 1 million copies sold.
Yeah.
So it was an arcade smash. Nintendo knew what they were doing, and I don't know how many consoles they sold, but Street Fighter fans were like happy as a pig in you know what. They were.
That was a start of my insomnia. And I've never gotten over it. It's Street
that's
Fighter.
true.
I play Street Fighter directly. It's
totally
Street Fighter.
So that's but see, Nintendo had their flaws, especially when it came to their memory speed. So a lot of games slowed down. Every single game they had massive power, beautiful graphics, mode 7 and all, right? But what was their flaw? The CPU was too slow.
Right.
So
Same
a lot
thing
of
with Mortal
games slowed
Kombat.
down when a lot of things showed up on screen. That happened in R-Type, Super R-Type. It happened in what's it called? Pilot Wings. A lot of their games. And when there's a lot of objects on the screen, it tends to slow down. It bogs down the system. It bogs down the console. So, what did Sega do? The little blue blur that could reared its beautiful, wonderful head, and thus Blast Processing was born. Sonic the Hedgehog was their somewhat laid upon new mascot. Oh, let me tell
the
you,
new mascot.
the new mascot, all about speed.
Alice Kid. Yep.
Ooh,
That was when
but
Alice
yeah,
Kid and Opa Opa got fired.
Yeah.
But let
Alice
me,
Kid and Opa Opa got fired.
yeah, but Sega knew what they were doing. They had their finger on the pulse. I'm telling you, Sega were fighters when it came to games. The arcade scene was still thriving, right? Albeit it was kind of slowing down a little bit because games are starting to get closer and closer to their arcade counterparts. But Sonic the Hedgehog, with that speed, just and no slowdown, amazing. Come on, man.
Yeah.
So the little
I ended
blue
up in places
blur.
not knowing how I got there.
What was that again?
I ended up in places not knowing how I got there. That's how fast that game was to me when I was a kid. You just run and you're like, yo, how did I end up over here?
Yeah. But it's so cool. You can actually turn into a ball and everything, and actually be able to go faster and stuff. Come on,
you're going all over the place. You're going around the rings. Yep.
You
Upside down.
The stages were
Amazing back in the
cool.
day.
The stages were cool. The enemies were cool. You faced Dr. Robotnik and all his different machines. Every single stage. Come on. It was pure bliss. And on top of that, when you lose your rings, you can just get your rings back, and you're back into the game. So you have more chances to actually survive.
Right.
Except for you land on spikes. When you land on spikes and everything, there is no coming back.
Yeah, or if you get crushed.
Or if you get crushed. Right.
Yeah.
Getting crushed is the cheapest.
It's the cheapest death. It is. Yeah, you're right.
It is, though. Like, you don't even have to have your whole body into that platform. It's like, if it's like maybe your nose or your arm or whatever, it's enough to kill you, to take you out.
So Sonic the Hedgehog, that came out. Nintendo was still kind of hitting their stride, but then they started learning, and thus the game Contra 3, the Alien Wars came out.
Right.
But knowing Sega, being the smart ones that they are, years later, a wonderful game that came up for the Sega Genesis, which was actually hard, and that's the reason why we call it hard. It's Contra Hardcore.
Right.
Contra Hardcore was actually one of the, if not one of the hardest games.
It is a hard game.
Yes.
It is hard.
It is brutally difficult. You just gotta know how to use your characters, switching them off and all that stuff. Switching your weapons, keeping your weapons. Big point.
That game will spank you.
It will spank you.
Oh
yeah.
Take spank you like your pops.
Oh my, yes, they would.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they take down the bottoms. They take down the bottoms as they spank you. It's going in raw. Pause.
I'll tell you one thing about Konami though. The thing is that Konami signed a deal with Nintendo that they were allowed to put up their arcade ports or whatever, because it only goes to Nintendo though. But from what I heard, according to their contract, they said it did say that they're not that they're not allowed to work with Sega. So they actually were allowed to. They found a loophole, like they could actually work with Sega. So what they did was, since the Super NES version had Contra 3D Alien Wars, that's when Sega did the Hardcore. So the Genesis had their own version. Then you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hypersole Heist that was on Genesis. They couldn't bring Turtles in
Yeah.
Time to the Genesis.
Great.
They couldn't bring Turtles in Time to Genesis, so they decided to do Hypersole Heist.
Yep.
So they did that, and then also they couldn't bring Super Castlevania 4 to the Genesis, so they did a really brilliant game, which is one of my favorite Castlevania games, is Castlevania Bloodlines, which
Yes.
I think it's a gorgeous game, and the music
My
is just
cousins love
fantastic.
that game.
Really good.
Yeah.
Bloodlines is one of my favorites. So
Really good.
Konami was smart at the time though, and then of course, I got to bring this up. The Super Nintendo version had Tiny Toon Adventures. I think it was Busters on Loose, so they can't use that version on Genesis, so they made their own version. So it was different, which I think that's cool because I believe the Super Nintendo. What I liked about the Super Nintendo and Genesis at the time, they had their own versions of a game. Like it could be any game from like it could be like I mentioned before. Like there's Ninja Turtles, there's Tiny Toons. That they have a game with there, but then it's different adventures.
Tiny Toons.
Yeah. Rocket Knight Adventures. There's another game that comes up, and they named they
Hey,
actually made a version for the
Time.
Super Nintendo called Sparkster. Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
You know we're talking about Genesis, right? We gotta bring up Comic Zone.
Comic Zone. Okay, let's get into that.
An innovative game, dude.
One of the first 2D cell shaded type of games that came out.
Mm-hmm.
It was comic style, very original gameplay, and also the fact that you actually go from comic page to comic page and stuff. And
it was so cool.
Yeah.
It's really good, man. And it's hard too. I mean, you don't have lives. You don't have lives, and your life is limited. That means your life carries over to the next stage. So basically, you don't start like with full life.
The game has to spank you.
It's unfair. It's unfair, but you have to really be smart. You have to be smart with the gameplay, and of course you have your trusty little rat. So you gotta be smart. There's secret entrances and stuff like that rat can actually find, and also they can be able to rip things and find new tools, like you have a knife or you have the dynamite, and stuff like that. So it's so good, man. I love Comic Zone. And I would love for them to do a full-on remake or reimagining of Comic Zone for the modern age, and maybe even make it 3D because they do a good job making 3D style shell shading type of games. And we're gonna get into some of those type of games in a little bit because we have we're gonna get into the next phase of Sega and the new generation of consoles, and the big blow that actually almost ruined them. So let's get into that. So Sega CD. Let's get into Sega CD.
Sure.
The CD market was actually starting to thrive. Obviously, Sega had some deals with, I believe it was Virgin Records and stuff like that. So they had a collaboration, and they were able to use some of their licensing for some of their games. One of them was Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. The other one was Criss Cross.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was Criss Cross.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. And make my video. That was the one. Make my video. That those fun ones. Yeah. The FMV movie type of games. Yeah. They really kind of banked on that when it came to the Sega CD. It had none of the 2D offerings like Wonder Dog or anything like that.
thought
No.
Marky Mark was gonna sell Segas.
Yeah. Hey, listen, they were trying to use star power.
I thought you would.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's all about star power. Sega
yeah.
spared no expense
Yeah.
when it came to
Yeah.
that. You know, think about this. You know, when you play games like Night Trap, the infamous Night Trap.
Dana Plato. Yeah.
My gosh.
Rest in peace to
You
her.
know,
There's more of that Sega star power, not just athletes and actors and stuff too.
Yep. That, and then of course they actually had the games where like Sewer Shark, another great game. That was fun, but
Wow, that's wonderful.
That was good, but it was hard.
it was very hard. You had to switch. You had to literally switch on the fly for directionals and then switch back to actually shoot. And I had no idea what to do because I was actually kind of paying attention. You know, and if you miss an entrance and stuff like that, you actually either explode or you actually get yelled at by the pilot, and the pilot will call you dog meat. So
Oh yeah, this game would piss me off.
yeah,
That's why I didn't get around to playing it.
I do want to say one game though that I do like on Sega CD, and that's Final Fight CD.
There it is.
I couldn't believe how almost arcade perfect that game was. But what really drove me into that game was the remix music. The music in Final Fight CD was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness they actually brought that to the Sega Genesis Mini too. I'm so glad that they actually did Sega CD games. I'm so glad.
Yes.
You know, Popful Mail, another great game, side-scrolling shooter. And what was another great 2D style game that they brought for the Sega CD? What was it called? Oh yes. What's it called? Lunar the Silver Star.
Yes, the RPG game. Yes.
That RPG with the fantastic cinematics and voice acting. Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted a Sega CD. That Mortal Kombat. That's why.
Now there was
never got one, but I wanted one.
The Sega CD came with 5 discs, if I remember correctly. They came with a Sega Genesis Classics, which actually had enhanced sound effects or soundtracks. So Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Columns, and I think there was one other game. I forgot which one it was. I forgot what it was. Columns did not change any of the sound effects, but they did have this awesome sound. What do you call the soundtrack in the beginning of the game. So I was like, oh, funky. But all the rest of the soundtracks was actually, used the same MIDI tunes.
The problem with some people had a problem with Sega CD was because they had some games that play like too much like Dragon Slayer though. Like there was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Sega CD. When I first heard about that game, I thought this was gonna be like a better version of the Genesis version, but no, it's a game that you watch episodes, but you have to make sure you press the right button at the right time. So it was quick time events.
Oh, those are harsh.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was like false advertising.
Yeah, that was terrible. I didn't like that.
The box said something about experience the mighty action of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, while you actually help them defend the Angel Grove from the evil, sinister. What was it? Rita Repulsa. Yeah.
About Lord
Really? Really?
No, because Lord Zed didn't show up until like much later. This is during the time when Rita was the main villain.
Yeah. So how disheartening to find out that it was just a point, like a click adventure.
Yeah,
I had no clue when I got that game. That would piss me off.
Yeah, and there was another game though that pissed me off too. There was Parallax and Dinosaurs, for the Sega CD, and people thought that was going to be
the arcade version.
beat 'em up game.
Yeah,
But
The
yeah.
arcade version is
no,
amazing.
but
I can see
no,
people
it was.
getting very angry with that.
Oh yeah, because basically it was a quick time event. It was based off the cartoon. That's what it was. They just took
No, no, no,
they
no, no,
just
no.
yeah. This basically was. It was like a cartoon, but you had to make sure you press the buttons on time, like quick time events, like they do with Shinbu. That's basically what the whole game was.
Horrible, horrible.
Ryan
Could you
mentioned Star
imagine?
Wars.
Could you imagine if they would have brought the beat 'em up game, dude? The Sega CD, I guarantee you would have sold a lot.
Yeah, well, they had an opportunity. They really did. And a lot of missed opportunities too. Because me personally, I thought the Sega CD was really going to bring it. Like for instance,
Yeah.
I played a game. I played a game that was called what was it called? What's it called? Something werewolf? What something like that? Wolf something wolf. Saber wolf. Something like that. I forgot what it was.
I know which game you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I know which game you're talking about.
And I mean the music was great, but everything else about the game was lame. Even even the cinematics and everything was like almost like stop motion. But
Yeah.
But we had to talk about one game that I actually really enjoyed the soundtrack was, and thank goodness it's Spencer Nielsen and everything and its awesome guitar riffs. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man versus Kingpin.
That was a great game.
The definitive
that
version.
was a fantastic game.
Definitive version of Spider-Man. I played it for the Sega Genesis, but when I played it for the Sega CD, I said, "Oh, it's a bigger game. The cinematics were there. The soundtrack was definitely there." And and I'm saying to myself, you know what? This is how you do it. This is how you bring a game from point A to point B. And they really brought it because that game I still have it. I still have Spider-Man. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. Yes, I do have it right over here.
Wonderful.
As soon as I get my hands on that Sega CD again, it's gonna be mine. Yep, there it is. Let me see if you can try to get it. There you go. Yep, it's right there. Sega CD. Spider-Man versus Kingpin. This game right here. I'm never getting rid of it. Because right now, if you actually go on eBay or anything like that, you know how much it costs? A little over $200-something.
Holy shit.
I will never, ever get rid of this game.
Damn.
Period. Sorry, you have to pry it from my dead hands. It's not going to happen. But another great game that I actually love, because there was several. There's a shooter from a company called Game Arts called Sylphied. Now, Sylphied was like a somewhat simplistic type of shooter, but it was pretty much one of the highly rated shooters of that time that came out for the Sega CD. I believe it was only available for the Sega CD. You won't find it for anything else. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, you still there? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I was waiting for a response, but I thought we had, I thought you guys were doing a Disney.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to monitor those.
No, I'm still here. Don't worry.
All right, cool. But yeah, I mean,
my apologies.
But there are so many Sega CD games that that actually was worth trying to get your hands on, and then of course Sega got greedy. Yeah, Sega got greedy, right?
Yes, they did.
But yeah, I forgot to mention about Terminator. I forgot about the Terminator game. Oh my God, I forgot about that game. Tommy Tallarico did the soundtrack to that for the Sega CD.
That's right. Yep.
Oh, I forgot about yes.
Yep.
My gosh,
Oh, okay.
I love. Oh, that's a matter of fact. That's another game I'm not gonna get rid of.
This guy. No, I'm jealous, man.
I'm
You were that
sorry.
kid I wanted to go.
I am not getting rid of this game.
I missed out on so
Ever.
many Sega CD games and all that stuff.
Ever.
I should have grew up in your area.
Oh my God. Never getting rid of this. This game is gonna be in my arsenal for life. Until I get my hands on the Sega CD again, this right here, prior from my dead, lifeless hands. But still, Tommy Tallarico though. Tommy Tallarico was actually one of my guys, man. He actually did some amazing soundtracks, but the Terminator soundtrack, bar none, one of his best tracks. One of his best tracks ever. If you have not listened to it, you can actually find it on Spotify. Look for Tommy Tallarico's greatest hits, and you will actually be able to listen to the entire soundtrack.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. You guys got anything before we move on to the next phase of Sega's life?
Well, I mean, we still got we still want to touch base on the Saturn and the Dreamcast, so we're not really like, I wouldn't say we aren't done.
Oh no! That's what I'm saying. That's the next phase.
Yeah.
But
I really don't have
I
much
have
on
a-
the Sega CD because my experiences. I don't have much experience with them. So when I knew how to, I didn't have one.
I was gonna lightly touch. I was gonna lightly touch on the 32X because the 32X was a very, very short life.
That was
It was
pretty
2
good,
years. 2 years.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
2 years.
It wasn't bad.
That's how long the Sega the 32X was. 2 years. That's as long as it actually was out. And then they started deep discounting the Sega the 32X. I was starting to see it in stores and everything. They were selling it for $50. No lie. $50. They were like, "Oh, we want to get rid of these things. You want? Hey, here. You want one? Hey, you. The guy down the street. Hey, you. You want one? Free beer for every 32X we sell." That's pretty much they were trying to get rid of it because they had so much overstock on the 32X. All the retailers and everything they were bleeding money and they said, "Oh, we gotta get rid of these," you know. And Sega literally was losing money. They were. Too many peripherals too quickly. You know, we had the Menacer. Remember the Menacer? Yeah. The wonderful little light gun peripheral. They were trying to copy the Super Soap 6. Sega was actually like almost behind the 8 ball when it came to that because they said, "Oh, well, whatever they could do, we could do better." So what did they do? They brought out the Menacer, and then they made the Menacer compatible with Terminator 2 Judgment Day. That came the port that came out for the Sega Genesis, and that was short-lived because not many more games actually used it.
I'm looking at old pictures of the Sega with the Sega CD and the 32X mounted on top of it, and I remember how insane that setup used to look back then.
It looked funky, didn't it? It was like, whoa.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. They called it the Super Tower. They called it the Genesis Super Tower, if I remember correctly.
It almost looks like a vehicle.
What was that?
It almost looks like a vehicle.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Like you can get in and drive.
It looks like something you see in like a futuristic movie, you know. All the power in your hands. Yeah, so but the Sega 32X did have some great games. They had the Star Wars we call it Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that's what Dorian brought that up in the chat.
Yes, they had the Rogue Squadron. They had the what was another one that actually was good? Oh, Sonic Chaotix. I was sorry, Knuckles Chaotix. They had that game, which was actually fun. Very difficult though because it's weird because you had to, every single character you kind of attached, and you have to use the character to kind of propel you to certain parts of the game. So it was weird. And then of course the arcade, almost arcade perfect version of Virtual Fighter. I would say that right there was the definitive version of the arcade version because they did, yes, there it is, because they did, because we're going into the next phase. They did actually bring that game to the Sega Saturn. Now, let's talk about that. The Sega Saturn, the next phase of their next generation consoles. They were not aware of the new player that was actually in the works. Now, let's talk about though. There's a lot of moving parts here. Nintendo was going to have their own CD port. Now, I think they were talking with Sony at the time. Sony, it was going to be called the Nintendo PlayStation. That was the name. That's what they were going to call it. And of course, there's a lot of underhanded things going on, and you know how Nintendo does Nintendo. Nintendo was like, you know what? We don't need your CD. We got our own style of whatever. We're gonna stick with our cartridges. That's what we do. That's us, right? They did that. They pulled the rug at the last minute too, and this was during I believe it was a conference. They literally pulled the rug and they said, nope, we're not doing it. They were gonna announce. Sony was gonna announce it. They were going to announce the partnership, and you know what? Nope. And then what happened? What's next?
The PlayStation.
No. Sega. Sony went to Sega.
Oh,
Sony went to Sega. Sony said, hey, well, if Nintendo's not going to partner with us, we're going to go to Sega. Sega was like, oh, all right, no problem. Yeah, we can do that.
Excuse me.
True. You're right.
Yeah.
But what happened? Sega created their own CD system, and that's what the Sega CD, right?
Yeah.
And now Sony was like, okay, fine. We don't need Jess.
We're going to do our own thing.
We're doing our own thing. Thus, the PlayStation was born. And people were laughing at this console, believe it or not. The industry was laughing at this console. They were like, Sony, come on. Sony's into music. Sony's into movies. They were going into video games? Come on. Come on.
Yeah. That's
right?
really true.
Oh, but
Sony's got to flex too.
But Sony flexed. Sony flexed.
Video games is only a small fraction of Sony's general revenue. It's like only 10%.
Yeah.
So Sony's just doing this for the funsies, and they're making billions off of it.
Pretty much. Sony went to their president, right? And they said, we have an opportunity and thing to corner the market. That's exactly what they said. That's verbatim. We have a chance to corner the market. We can actually use this. And you know what the president said? Do it. Thus, the Sony PlayStation was born. But the only way that they were able to actually get leverage was to go after one of the second players in the industry. And that was Sega. Because Sega said no, Sony went after the second fiddle. And they wanted to literally knock Sega down to actually get on that pedestal. And what was the best way to do it? By going to I believe it was was it CES? No, it wasn't CES. It was actually the first E3, one of the first E3s.
I think so.
And they said because I believe Sega actually already announced the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn was supposed to come out that following year, right? But when they found out that Sony was going to push it for that holiday, Sega got nervous because they found out what the price point was and everything, and oh man, that still echoes to this day. What that executive walked up with the papers in hand, was gonna do a long speech and all that stuff, right? You know what he said? $2.99, and walked off the stage. That's it. That's all he did. Sega's house of cards were about to crumble. They were scrambling. They said, what are we going to do? The Sega Saturn was not done yet. The Sega Saturn games were not complete yet. They were still buggy as heck. And they said, oh no, we got to get this console out now. We got to get this console out now. It was supposed to come out literally the following year. So you know what they did? They brought it out in the spring. And people, the retailers were so mad because they were not ready for this. They actually had plans to actually get this marketing and all that stuff done, right? Nope. 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 They said, nope, we're going to release it now. Which are all retailers. Okay, listen, we're gonna do the marketing. We're gonna bring it out now. Oh, such a big mistake. Not only was it a poor launch for the Sega Saturn, the games were so buggy and incomplete, like Virtua Fighter, clipping, stage disappearing. You know, the music was all there and all that stuff, but even Virtua Cop. Oh my goodness. Daytona USA. My favorite arcade game. Play, the sit down arcade game. And Daytona. Love it, right? Oh. Disappearing backgrounds. The track actually looking like the dithering and all that stuff. I mean, it was still kind of playable, right?
It was a bit of a
mess.
But
it was
mess.
And you know what made matters worse? The commercials did not depict what the actual game was actually going to look like. It was such false advertising. People saw the arcade versions of those games, right? But when they brought them home, they were like, "What the boop is this?" And I said the same thing too. I said, "Whoa, yeah, I think this needs to go back in the oven and cook. This is raw, bro. This is raw."
I just assumed that it just couldn't technologically handle it. They pushed it, and I was like, "Uh-oh, okay, this isn't gonna work well."
It was, but the thing is though, and this is another funny thing. Sega was not really equipped to do 3D for that console. It just wasn't made for polygons. Sony forced their hand. Sony was like, "Oh yeah, we could do bitmaps and all these stuff like that." That was their forte. Amazing games like Battle Arena Toshinden, game, and a few other games that came out, the 3D games. I forgot what half of them.
2 was great too. Then you got Tekken.
Exactly, Tekken. Yes, they put Tekken, the arcade version of Tekken. They put Tekken. Oh my goodness, Sony brought it. How many games? I think they had one of the largest launches. It was one of the largest launches. Not in history, but it was actually one of the largest launches then. They had about 10, 15 games or something like that during launch. There were so many games. It was just crazy. They actually got licenses and licensors of every company. They were reaching out. They grabbed freaking Square. This is SquareSoft at the time, before they became Square Enix. They grabbed SquareSoft. They were going to bring out Final Fantasy VII to the Nintendo 64, aka the Ultra 64. They were going to bring that game, and they say, "Oh, this is the next iteration of the Final Fantasy series, Final Fantasy VII." They even showed prototypes. They even showed prototypes. They even showed prototypes of that, right? Nah. So Sony was a workhorse, and Sega was frustrated. So, but the Sega Saturn was good at one thing: 2D. When it came to 2D games, they knew how to do it. Three Dirty Dwarves, fantastic game, by the way. I love that game. If you haven't never played that game, Three Dirty Dwarves, try it out. It's really fun. You know, and then Street Fighter, the Street Fighter Alpha.
Yep, all of them. All the
definitive version.
Too, and the
yes.
Street Fighter versus games, yes.
Not we call it
perfect.
Darkstalkers. You know, the Night Warriors.
Yes.
Darkstalkers 2. Yes. Come on. You know, and the 4-meg cart. Let's not forget about that. The 4-meg cart was able to bring games like X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which was actually really difficult for the Sony version to do. They could not switch out characters. They only had them as assists. For the I think it was X-Men vs. Street Fighter. The X-Men Children of the Atom.
I did notice that. I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. X-Men Children of the Atom, also another great game.
Oh.
It was better on the Sega Saturn.
Beautiful.
It was better on the Sega Saturn. Much better. Played better.
Arcade perfect. Arcade perfect.
Arcade perfect. Street Fighter Alpha. Arcade perfect. Street Fighter Alpha 2.
Yes.
Arcade perfect.
Arcade perfect.
Yeah. They come on, man.
Marvel Superhero. Yeah, Marvel Superheroes.
Marvel Superheroes, another great game. Yes. Literally almost arcade. I'll say almost arcade perfect, but it was actually very good.
Those games were beautiful.
It was definitely playable.
Yes.
Those games are beautiful, but I don't think they take up much space.
No,
and
they didn't.
They're so easy
they really
to
didn't.
They don't take up a lot of memory at all, and they favors gameplay over everything.
You know?
Yeah.
But the most beautiful game, though, is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, people always reference the Sony PlayStation version, right? Play the Sega Saturn version and come back to me. The Sega Saturn version not only has more stages and more enemies, but you also get to play as Maria
and Richter.
Yes. You know, so and it just looks better, plays better. You know, even though it doesn't have any of those fancy bells and whistles. Huh?
Right. Well, I was going to mention there was a problem. Even though the Saturn version has more extra content than the PlayStation version, the problem with the Saturn version, there was some slowdown with that version. That is true. There was some slowdown on it. That's the only issue. But I'll tell you what though, the Saturn version, unfortunately, they never brought it to any other console. So the only way you're able to play that game, you have to have Saturn. So that's
right.
The only option, unfortunately.
You know, and they actually did bring home arcade versions of the Revolution X. I would say that the Sega Saturn version was the best version of that. XO Man of War, Iron Man, XO Man of War.
We were talking about that
game.
Definitive
version for the Sega Saturn. Definitive. I mean, I can go on and on, but the Sega Saturn was the 2D beast, and that's the reason why. You know, Sega Saturn kind of lived a little bit longer than the shelf life because a lot of stores were starting to discount the Sega Saturn because they had said I think their stock the stock prices and everything was starting to go down, and they said, okay, you know what? We gotta get rid of these things. So they were starting to liquidate the Sega Saturns like crazy, and they even starting to sell the consoles back to Sega, and the Sega president didn't like that. Did you know? Fun fact. Did you know that the Sega Saturn would have been the very last console if a few very dedicated dedicated executives said, you know, we have an idea. If they did not step up, or do anything, thank you, Peter Moore. If they did not step up, the Sega would have died. Would have been dead on arrival. Basically, Sega Saturn would have been the death nail. It would have been the death nail of Sega if it wasn't for them. Thus,
it's very true.
Yeah, but thus, let's get into our the definitive shining moment. Peter Moore. Everybody knows the great shiny boy Peter Moore. He actually put Puma on the map. He actually helped a lot of great sports teams and all that stuff. He was all about that. The great man from Liverpool. He was a genius when it came to marketing, and thus Dreamcast was born. It's
Still
thinking.
to this day, one of my favorite.
Man, was it amazing? I love the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast literally revived and put a pulse back into Sega. It really did. Not only was it one of the most successful launches that Sega ever had in a very, very long time since the Sega Genesis, but they actually knew how to grab their audience. Number one, they grabbed the sports nuts with their football game, with their what was it?
Mm-hmm.
There was football and basketball. They brought both of those games out at launch. Sonic the Hedgehog. People loved Sonic the Hedgehog. Bring it to 3D. Launch.
What was your launch game?
$99.99. Yes. Those.
Mine was Ready to Rumble.
Ready to
Rumble.
Ready to Rumble boxing. Yep.
My
Buffer.
launch games. Yeah, my launch games was when I got my Dreamcast on $99.99. I picked up a VMU card, and I picked up Sonic Adventure and Mortal Kombat Gold.
Oh, of course. Come on. You're Mortal Kombat. You had to get that. Of course.
Yeah, I was a Mortal Kombat for that. Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
Ernie's OG Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but this was the defended version of Mortal Kombat 4 and believe it or not, people are hoping or praying that this game, Mortal Kombat Gold, would be on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection that's coming out this fall, though. But there's no word of it yet, though. So the only way you're able to play the defended version of Mortal Kombat 4, you had to get a Dreamcast to be able to play it. So
yep,
there you have it.
Yep.
The game was one of them. Where they ripped the guy's leg off and he beat you with it to the
screen. Quan Chi, yes.
That's the funniest fatality I've ever seen out of the entire series. I love that one.
A lot of the fatalities in that game were pretty hilarious.
Oh, man.
Yes. Like Scorpion's fatality was hilarious, though, when he takes his mask off and he burns them, and the opponent starts running around the screen screaming.
Yeah. Toasty 3D. Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh man.
The games that I got on that launch, I think I don't know what I traded in. This is the beautiful days of Funko Land. Shout out to all those who remember Funko Land. Funko Land, the place to go for anything video games, old school, and oh man. Listen, let me tell you something.
That's where I beat my friend's ass at Ready to Rumble as Michael Jackson.
Oh, that was part 2 though. That was the
It was
video
the
one was
second
part
one.
2.
It was the second one, but I beat my friend's ass at his Funko land.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was second game.
As Michael Jackson. Showed him who the King of Pop was.
Yes.
King of Pop, yes.
Let me see. Then of course, Soul Calibur. That's a game that I actually got during launch.
Yes.
I got Soul Calibur, and I think I got 3 games. Soul Calibur, a game called Trick Style, which actually was an okay kind of like like futuristic racing on hoverboards kind of game. And Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic what's it called? Sonic Adventure. Those are the 3 games that I actually got for
Sonic
launch.
Adventure.
Yeah,
And,
Adventure 2 was awesome.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Such a great game.
But
yes, both of them.
Yes, but Sonic.
Adventure 2 introduced us to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Soul Calibur, the Sega Dreamcast version was the definitive version of Soul Calibur. Not only did you actually have the abilities to actually unlock characters as you go, because it was adventure mode. It was actually really cool. It was called I forgot what it was called. It was called Swords of Legend or something like that. I forgot what it was called. But it was legend. It was like a legendary mode that you could be able to go throughout all the stages, and you unlock characters, right? Unlock outfits, because basically, if you actually try to beat the game and you get those, you can actually unlock characters too that way. But to unlock everything else, you had to do the adventure mode. You had to unlock new weapons, new outfits, and all that stuff, and of course, extra characters in the game as well. So
I like unlocking their katas.
Yes, Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, cool. And there was more katas. There's more katas in this version than there was in the arcade, because the only katas they showed was Kilik and who else? It was Kilik, Sophia, and who else did they do a kata with?
It was probably Mitsurugi.
Was it?
Probably.
I wasn't too
Mitsurugi.
sure.
Probably. It was probably him. He was one of the faces of the game. So.
Well, yeah, Kilik. Yeah, Kilik.
Kilik, Mitsurugi, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Mitsurugi. That's right. Mitsurugi. I was like, yeah.
And the other girl. I forgot her name. She hung out with Maxie and Kilik.
Oh, that's Songhua. Yeah, Songhua.
Yeah.
Songhua. Yeah, Songhua. Yes.
I forgot her name.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let me tell you, Sega knew what they were doing. They grabbed everybody. Arcade
graphics were better.
Perfect. Arcade perfect. It
was better.
It was better.
The graphics were smoother and sharper.
And this was
it was amazing.
You know what made it even better though? What made it even better was the fact that there was an arcade that usually is nearby. Nathan's, everybody knows it. Nathan's Arcade, right? Most of those games that were available on the Sega Dreamcast was actually inside the arcade. Crazy Taxi, Confidential Mission, Marvel vs. Capcom. As a matter of fact, when Marvel vs. Capcom came out, oh my gosh, everybody was buying the Sega Saturn. I mean, Sega Dreamcast. I'm sorry, everybody was buying the Sega Dreamcast when Marvel vs. Capcom was coming out. Crazy, man.
Yeah, crazy. We had it on the big. Yeah, we had that game on the big screen.
Oh man, so good.
On that huge screen. Yeah.
Yes, so good, so freaking good. The first time I actually saw that game on console is when I think who was it? Oh yes, right. There was a place called Dragon's Den that was in Yonkers a long time ago.
I remember that place.
Yeah, yes, Johnny. You remember Johnny? You remember Dragon's Den? Oh my God, I love that place.
Of course, I remember.
Yeah, that place is. I love that place. They had Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, all in.
Yes, they were the first ones to get Third Strike before Nathan's got it.
Yeah. Oh man. And they played Dungeons, and they played D&D there, and they played Pokemon there, and I think there was Magic the Gathering. They had games.
Yes,
They had
Magic the
tournaments
Gathering.
there.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
but they actually had the imported version of the Dreamcast there. So that was the first time I was able to see Sonic the Hedgehog in action. You know, the first time I got to see Marvel versus Capcom in action. And most of those games came out in Japan first. And
Yes,
at that time, if everyone remembers, a lot of games came out in Japan first before it came to the Americas.
that's correct.
You know.
Back in those days, the Japanese had it first, they for a while, and then we had to wait for like almost a year just to get them.
Yep, and also they had to be translated, which is another thing.
Yeah.
Uh, but any other memories you want to talk about, for the second Dreamcast before we go into the Death and Rebirth?
Power Stone, baby.
Um. eh,
That
Oh yeah.
Dreamcast was also where I played so much Power Stone and Dead or Alive 2.
Power Stone, yes.
We
When
did
I
mention
wasn't
those
playing
games
Soul
before.
Calibur, that's why I switched off. The
Yep.
Dreamcast was during my fighting game and adventure game era. That's where I loved played all the
Let me
franchises I like today.
let me tell you something. There was one beat 'em up game that I loved on Dreamcast. Excuse me. There was Zombies Revenge. I love that game.
Oh, Zombie
Yo,
Revenge!
that was
Yes,
good.
it was in the
Only
arcade.
played the
And then they
arcade
brought it
version. That was
home.
a good game.
Yeah, that was on Dreamcast. They had
Great
the
choice,
arcade
guy.
mode.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I had that game. They had the arcade mode, and they had the original mode. So there was two different modes. So you had extra content in there, and plus, what's cool about that the VMU is that you could play little mini games on it. And
Yeah, they had
come
the
on, man,
Tamagotchi.
VMU.
It was like you
yes,
raised your own zombie like a
uh,
Tamagotchi.
yes, yes, exactly. You could play zombie fishing because
Yes.
remember if you if you remember the
Listen,
It's
Power
pretty
Stone has some
twisted,
little
dude.
mini games you could play. Yeah, let
legendary.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That VMU to this day will be the best memory card. There is no system out there that has their memory cards that can top the VMU. None.
This is true.
Nope.
This is true.
Nope.
100% true.
I will
Nope.
fight you on that. If you try to like say, oh well, this
They
memory
were
card,
kings of the
dude,
VMU. They were kings of
Speaking
that
of
memory
speak,
thingy.
yeah, and speaking of
exactly.
it's it. And I know we're talking about VMUs and stuff like that, and also we actually talking about Star Power, which is actually another thing. As you put, Michael Jackson was a big supporter of Sega.
Yes,
You
he
know,
was.
and
It was the 90s, dude.
they had
Of
the
course.
anniversary of his
He helped
birthday.
Sonic
Like
3.
happened, I think it was yesterday. His birthday came. His
Yeah.
birthday, and now they're
Oh,
actually
snap, it was.
bringing out a lot of stuff in a big way. So we have to talk about Michael Jackson in a
Yeah, so the
hey, we
king of
gotta give him
pop
props. You gotta give
himself,
give him some love
It's
Of
MJ, my
course.
dude. It's
because
MJ. You
it
gotta
is
talk
Michael
about
Jackson.
MJ. Give him a shout.
Not only did he bring out one of his greatest movies as a video game, Moonwalker, a 3-player, a top-down isometric view type of video,
It was so much fun.
beat 'em up type of game.
that was such a great game.
Yeah, so much fun. But they actually brought the side-scrolling home version of Moonwalker, a completely different
I
game.
liked that one too. It was
Yeah,
good.
completely different
Yeah, that
game,
was a
but
good one.
still very good when it came to the mini tunes. And Michael Jackson actually literally was there and helped them develop the music and stuff like that in the game.
Yeah, he did. He did help out the
I was playing
development of
that
the
game as
music.
a kid,
Dude, let me tell
and
you
my
something.
mom goes,
That's
"Why is Michael Jackson kicking people?"
what I liked about Michael Jackson is that people saying that Sonic 2 was their favorite. No, I'm sorry. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was the best to me because not only did they made the level designs was awesome, but come on, Michael Jackson was a part of that soundtrack though, and that's the problem with Sega when they were trying to re-release Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is because the music was licensed by Michael Jackson, and
Yeah, some got
unfortunately,
taken out, didn't it?
yeah, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, when the Sonic Origins came out, I think Tony remembered this though. When they came out with the Sonic Origins, that's supposed to have all the Sonic games there though. Yeah, Sonic the
Mm-hmm.
Hedgehog 3 was on there, but then they had to change some of the music. And I was like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
I can't play this version of Sonic the
You know what they
Hedgehog 3. I
do?
gotta have, you know?
They release these games. They don't tell you the music was taken out. I mean, you play it and you get to those levels. You're like, hey, wait, something's different. I can't quite figure
Yeah,
out.
the
And then you
music's
get pissed off. You're
completely
like, hey,
different.
wait, they took out the music.
Mm.
Yeah, come on. You can't
See,
take out MJ's music.
They,
well,
they don't
No.
even tell you. They don't tell you. They just
no,
release
they
it. Boom.
don't. They really don't. And
Yeah. People
and
had to play it though. People had to play the early access to Sonic Origins, and they had to tell people that like no, the music is completely the music's different on the original
It's just
Sonic the Hedgehog
unfortunate.
3. It sucks.
and what makes matters worse, what makes matters worse, is the fact that they actually delisted the original Sonic the Hedgehog 3 from
That's
all
correct.
platforms.
Bastards.
That means the
Yeah.
Steam,
Bastards.
Sega, the everything, everything that actually sold Sonic 3, they actually took them up. Thank God, I actually kept my version, which was backwards compatible on the freaking console, because they
That's awesome.
actually so I can still play that game with all of his original soundtrack intact. You know.
Right. I happen to have the Sonic Ultimate Genesis collection though, which is not only all the Sonic games, it has the music, it has the Michael Jackson music from Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but it also has some great Genesis games as well. It has the Streets of Rage trilogy, it has Shinobi 3, The Return of Ninja Master,
Yep.
it has Fantasy Star,
Mm.
Toe Jam and Earl, and many so many games though, and
I
I still
love
have
Toe
that
Jam
on
and
the
Earl.
That
of
soundtrack is
course.
so funky. I love that soundtrack, man.
Yes. It's a
Let me tell
great
you something.
soundtrack.
It is.
I actually talked with David, who actually
Yeah.
is who's the one who actually created the soundtrack.
I
And
saw your conversations. I saw the conversation you had with him. That's pretty
yeah,
cool. He replied back to
Oh,
you.
Greg,
that's cool.
Greg,
Good.
he's amazing. He's an
Yeah,
amazing guy.
that's
I
it.
mean, he's fun, he's funny, but I was actually kind of going back and forth with him about how funky it is, and believe it or not, fun fact, the third game that came out recently actually had some of the remixed tracks of the first game, but added more
Nice.
bass and bass funk to it. And I had to hear for
Yeah.
myself. I said, "Oh snap! You want to talk about funky? That's funky, man." But
Yeah.
speaking of funky, let's talk about a beautiful space dancer named Ooh La La.
Space Channel 5.
Space Channel 5. That's right. With the one and only Apollo Smile. She actually, I'm telling you, Sega knows how to get them. She
They do.
actually starred and hosted a wonderful a series that came on Sci-Fi. Where it was anime movies and stuff like that. And she actually, she did that for like about 2 years running. And then after that, she no longer did that. But then she actually did dancing, and she was doing dance choreography and stuff like that. I think she's still doing that now to this very day.
Hmm.
But but you can't find her anywhere. I try to look on social webs, and I can't even contact her. I can't do nothing. So it's like she's off the grid. But but from what I've heard, she still does choreography stuff, choreography and all that stuff. But I would like to ask her. I
Cool.
would like to ask her though. Would you dress up as Ooh La La one more time? Just for the culture. That would be awesome. And then
I was very yeah. I
you
was very
know
surprised that I saw a cosplayer as Ulala though from Anime NYC, which surprises me. So that just shows you that Sega is making a comeback, and now you see they're bringing back all their classic they're bringing back all their classic games. I mean, starting off with Shinobi, now you got Golden Axe, you got Crazy Taxi coming back. You got there's gonna be a new Streets of Rage game called Streets of Rage Revolution and Jet Set Radio.
yeah,
I
just
mean,
the
come
radio.
on.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Woo!
we did an episode
That's right.
getting to the anniversary for it. So I thought that was one of my favorite episodes that we did that all three of us did together. I thought that
Yeah,
was
I was
awesome.
itching to bring it up,
it
but I
was
didn't
so
want to
much
be it.
fun.
Like,
It was so much fun.
Well, no, like I said, I mean, like, plus Sega, they actually trademarked a lot of their licenses. I just saw recently they trademarked it Ultra Beast and Kid Chameleon. So there you go. We might be
Kid
seeing,
Chameleon? Are they gonna bring him back?
yeah, well, I
We
mean, I
might see
hope
Kid
so.
Chameleon back. Nice.
Like I said, I mean, they just trademarked the name Kid Chameleon, so there has to be working on like a reboot or a remake or something, So I hope so. I mean, why would they trademark it though? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why, I mean, if there's like a hint right there. Same thing with Ultra Beast. So, oh God, I would love to see another Ultra Beast though. The only new Ultra Beast the latest Ultra Beast game I played was the one on the Game Boy Advance. The only thing that people didn't like it was the fact that levels were too long. But I didn't care. But there was so many monsters and beasts you could transform.
Of course,
So,
of course.
yeah.
And let's. I mean, we can.
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
No. I was gonna say. Yeah, I was just gonna say that for the fact that these games actually had a broader scope, and people kind of gravitated to a lot of these different genres that Sega made. Sega was very diversified when it came to certain I would say the Sega Dreamcast was the most diversified console ever because there were so many genres that they actually reached, and they were all weird, funky, but so much fun. I mean, who doesn't love racing around town in a freaking taxi cab, collecting freaking, playing, trying to get the pedestrians to their locations and everything as fast as possible.
I was jumping taxis like Dukes of Hazzard, man.
Yeah,
in the middle of San Francisco, just launching the taxi like.
And that soundtrack,
probably like 3 stories high.
And that soundtrack with Offspring, soundtrack by Offspring. Yeah. You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
You can't.
You know.
I'm telling you, the new version better have that song because if it doesn't have that song, it ain't Crazy Taxi.
Oh, I know they're trying to fight tooth and nail to get the original rights to those songs. I know they are, and I'm hoping that they actually talk to Offspring and say, "Can you make new tunes? Can you bring some new tunes out?"
They already got them. The producer, one of the producers for the Offspring confirmed.
That's right.
Yeah,
you told me
we're on the next Crazy Taxi. Remember, I looked it up. It was the first.
You did look it up.
They said yes. The Offspring themselves confirmed it, so we're good.
Oh, that's
awesome. We're gonna be eating good today, boys.
Oh man!
I guess meat's back on the menu, boys.
I love the Offspring.
Oh yeah, the Offsprings are awesome.
Oh,
the videos are great too, man.
So, but let's talk about. I know we talked about all the good times, but let's talk about the dreaded year. I hate to go into it.
We have to.
This was, we have to. I'm sorry, we have to.
Okay.
So, obviously, right now.
The Eeyore. See what you did, Torrance?
I know.
Come on, man.
DVDs. Yeah, DVDs were starting to become very, very big. People were actually getting into DVDs because of the high quality movies and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Sony, being Sony, they actually had pretty much a lot of the marketing rights to a lot of companies, especially when it came to the CD market and DVD market. They had pretty much the corner of it. They cornered the market. They had it. So what do? They leveraged that and they used it for their games for their next console, the PlayStation 2.
Right.
Now, the PlayStation 2 came out roughly a year and a half after the Dreamcast came out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And my God, when people found out that you could be able to watch DVD movies on the console, a video game console that actually doubles up as a DVD player was not only just genius, but it was also underhanded and literally cornered the market. People were not buying the console for games. They were buying it because it was a cheap DVD player.
And Sony's a name you could trust with that kind of stuff too.
But see that's a genius.
They already had the hardware.
They got themselves a boost just because of that. And see, the Sega Dreamcast was CD-ROM based, or better yet, it was GD-ROM based, and it just didn't have the capacity of a DVD. So that means when it came to graphics and all that stuff, it can only do but so much. And people were like, "Oh, Sega, aren't you going to bring out a new console that actually could be able to play DVDs and stuff like that?" Now here's the underhanded part. Here's the underhanded part. I gotta tell you, and this is what frustrated me the most. Sony had a patent on DVDs at the time. And because they had a patent on DVDs, no other console could be able to use DVD, what do you call it, DVD platforms for their consoles for a certain amount of time. So they had the market literally
it's
for
smart from a business standpoint.
Well, it is. I mean, business is business. I mean, that's how it is.
It's smart.
Yeah, business is business. That's how it is. But that's literally how they nailed the coffin on Sega Dreamcast, because Dreamcast could not compete. They could not do it. The licensors actually started flooding to Sony because, number one, they had the leverage with DVD. A lot of people were buying the consoles. The developers saw that, the publishers saw that, and they said, "Oh, potential buyers, potential people to purchase our games. Look at that! They already got 500,000 consoles sold. Oh my God, they got 1.5 million consoles sold. We got potential customers to be able to buy our games." They were flooding to Sony. And Dreamcast and Sega, they were losing support. Capcom, they stuck with Sega for a long, long time. Namco, they were riding hard with Sega. And that really, right? Sega could not compete.
It was too much at once for Sega, unfortunately.
And then
because they could have pivoted and created a new system to compete, but they didn't because they'd lost all those they lost all that support and revenue, so they did not have the financial backing to launch development on a new system to compete.
Nope,
it was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Sony literally built their legacy off of destroying Sega. Let's just be right. Let's be honest. They did. And then when the young president took over as the CEO of Sega, because the old one, the other one stepped down because they found out they were bleeding money. The American marketer, he literally stepped away. He quit. I think he quit, or he actually got fired. He quit. I think he quit because he was saying some things. I think Peter Moore actually said some things. He said a lot of things, and the president didn't like that too much. So they parted ways. And then what happened? A younger Japanese marketer came in and said, "Well, let's step away from the console space for a little while." And they started weaning down the console sales, stopped selling them to the markets, didn't sell them to any stores anymore, and literally was telling the stores, sell off the rest of your product because we're no longer going to be making Dreamcast anymore. And that was literally the end of an era of Sega for now. Because Sega decided to go to their worst enemy and say, hey, we're becoming a publisher now. What would you like us to make? The first mascot that decided to jump on board was Sonic the Hedgehog. So what did they do to celebrate the Great Union? Mario and Sonic goes to the Olympics. That was like pretty much their telltale sign. There was a telltale sign that Sega is no longer a first party developer. They are now all in third party. As soon as you saw Mario and Sonic, oh, that's it. First games that actually came out. GameCube. All GameCube games that the Sega was actually going in. I think it was Billy Hatcher. One was an original IP that they actually made. And that came out for the Nintendo GameCube and a few others. And they were riding hard with Nintendo. I mean, literally, that's what they were doing. So I think Sega games, they were throwing them at them. And I forgot. I even forgot to mention, that we're talking about the Yakuza games. I forgot to mention those. Sony got their hands on those. And what was the developer's name? Johnny, help me out. Johnny? Hello?
Johnny.
Yeah.
You're a resident Yakuza guy, man. We need you, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing though about the Well, first of all, you know what? We can't talk about the Yakuza games though until we talk about Shenmue.
Oh, Shenmue. That's right. Yeah. Let's go into that. Yes.
Yes. So
Shenmue was Yu
was
Suzuki's last baby for the console.
Mm-hmm.
His masterpiece. Yes.
Yes.
That was his masterpiece, and then so then we had Shenmue 1 and 2 for the Dreamcast, and then they came out with that nice collection that came out for consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, and then so it was like basically like you're walking around the town, you're traveling, and so I think that's pretty much what the Yakuza series, got their idea from, and they wanted to do something with the underworld, with the story, with an ex Yakuza member, Kiryu Kazuma, and then and it was like a beat 'em up action game. You're fighting, you're fighting Yakuza members and punks and thugs, and so you in a brutal way, Yes,
Can
sir.
I ask you a question regarding these games? Remember Shenmue? Did I hear correctly? And maybe you can confirm this.
Sure.
Ryo wasn't even a character yet. The game was supposed to originally be about Akira from Virtual Fighter before they scrapped that idea and created Ryo Hazuki.
I did
hear
hear
that
about
rumor?
that. I did hear something about like they wanted to make like a virtual fighter.
It was like
an
a Virtual
adventure
Fighter
game.
RPG. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
they scrapped that idea and made a whole new original story, which I'm glad they did.
Yeah, of course, definitely. But I remember Shenmue was originally supposed to come out for the Sega Saturn, but then they moved it over to the Dreamcast, which I think that was the better decision because, sure, I mean, it would have been nice to see it on the Saturn though, but let's face it, the Dreamcast looks way better than the Saturn. So I'm glad. I'm actually glad that they decided to went with that decision. So, but yeah, but the
Yeah.
Yakuza, yeah, but the Yakuza, excuse me, and the Shibu series, they were very, very quite similar with each other though. So it was basically like an adventure because the story was just so good. It was just like it was like amazing, and I'm so glad that that Shibu 3 now is coming out on the Xbox. But yeah, but these are games that revolutionize video games as we see, because I think that's what kind of like opened up a little bit of how like open world, almost not, I wouldn't, maybe I could say open world, but I wouldn't say maybe like sandbox though, because you get to go to one place to another. And it's like real time, like oh, you want to go to the store, but no, you gotta wait until the store opens up until 8 o'clock. So
Yeah,
it was
like
just
real,
it was
like
just
real
so
life,
much
pretty much. Yeah. Hmm.
exactly. So exactly, that's exactly what it was. Now going back to the Yakuza series, yeah, I guess that you could say similarities, because remember there were some stores in the Yakuza games that some places weren't open until it was at a certain time of day or a certain time of night. You know what I'm talking about,
Oh yeah, of
Danny?
course.
Yeah,
Like karaoke bars are not open until certain times.
right.
Certain areas and everything they're closed until until certain times. Or you have to
Hmm.
meet like a certain person at this particular time because that's the only way to actually meet them.
Right.
So
So,
yeah.
but yeah, but yeah, but the Yakuza series. That, oh, don't forget though, the Yakuza series is celebrating their 20th anniversary this year, and don't forget, and
2020.
also,
Wow.
That's
yeah,
crazy. That's
20
crazy. 20
years?
years, man. Wow.
yeah. And also, we forgot to mention during the game spit that there's going to be an RGG submit event that they always have. Like the special events, their event when they announce the next games from RGG Studios.
Oh
So they're
yes.
gonna
Mhm.
be. So yeah, we're gonna probably see more information on Stranger Than Heaven. They might people are saying that, oh, they might announce Yakuza Kiwami 3 or some other game. So
Ooh,
Mm,
please do.
mm,
yes, I would love that. I wouldn't
absolutely.
mind that. So, but
So
yeah, but yeah, I just forgot to. I apologize for not mentioning that earlier, because they did announce that yesterday. And
wow.
that next month, I think it's, if I'm correct, I think it's September 24th that that RGG Studios are going to be making. It's going to have like a presentation, and I think that's during the time with the Tokyo
Tokyo
Game
Game
Show as
Show.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's another one I really want to watch. I mean, that they had some great announcements. They're gonna probably announce, and I
Excuse
heard
me.
that
Sorry.
Xbox is gonna be going in there in a big, big, big way. So I'm wondering what collaborations they're actually going to be coming up with, or who they're going to be trying to bring in. Bring to the to the states or whatever it is. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I really can't wait. But but Sega really, was starting to slowly get back their stride. And
Yeah.
but and then of course the marriage between Xbox and Sega kind of reared its head again, which I forgot to mention that Sega, or sorry, Microsoft actually did help Sega with their not only their system on the chip, but they also helped them with their network.
I knew it.
Because if you
Right.
look on the side,
That's
it
correct.
says powered by
The
Windows
Dreamcast
CE.
influenced the Xbox.
That is correct. Yes.
That's
It
There you
totally
Says
go.
did.
it.
You
It
just
says it
helped
right on
confirm
your
it a little bit more.
Dreamcast.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes, Torrance is right on that one. It
yeah.
just says powered by Windows. If you look at your Dreamcast system, it says powered
Yes.
by Windows. There you go. Hmm.
Dreamcast is Xbox's daddy.
That is correct.
Yep. Says it right there. If you see,
Oh, look at that bad boy.
I remember. I remember wholeheartedly, dude. It's the Xbox
beautiful.
was a Dreamcast on steroids.
Etched in
That's
gold.
what
I
it
love
was.
it. Mwah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it's
They gave
there you go.
they gave the Dreamcast a DVD drive and a whole lot more processing power, and boom, the birth of the Xbox.
Yeah,
Right
but you
there.
know what? Yeah, but you know what? I really wish that the because some people said this during the G4 icons when when there was the presentation of the Sega Dreamcast. The one guy said that if the Sega Dreamcast would have had a DVD drive, the Dreamcast would have lasted for a few more years, and I believe so too.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, look, Sega really, pushed the envelope when it came to not only technologies but also new ideas. The problem is that the trends were starting to kind of move faster than they did, and the CEO, they're old men. They were.
Yeah.
They were old men, old ideas, old, and to try to get them to change their ways was almost like pulling teeth. Peter Moore mentioned this a lot of times. As a matter of fact, shout out to the Iron Lords and everything. They actually had a couple of nice interview with him, and he mentioned it himself. He said that they did not play nice. The guys over there, when the Sega Dreamcast was there, they a lot of ideas that they had, they didn't push through with because they said no. They were the ones that had the money. They said, oh, well, you know what? No. Oh yeah, we're gonna no. What is it? No, because we didn't. No.
No. Yeah. The answer is no.
Yeah. So I would say half of the time it was their fault because if they were able to move forward with a lot of their great ideas, I'm pretty sure things will be kind of a little bit different.
I can agree with that.
Sure. But of course, with the marriage of Sony, with the Sega and also Microsoft, the Xbox was born. The Xbox came through, and what happened? Sega said, oh, well, we got all these great IPs that we were going to use for the Dreamcast. Why not bring those to your console? Crazy Taxi 3.
Yes.
It's a Radio Future.
Panzer Dragoon, Jet Set Radio. Future.
Yep.
What was it? A Panzer Dragoon Order.
That was for me.
Gun Valkyrie.
Right. Yes.
Another great game, by the way. I love Gun Valkyrie.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shenmue 2. They made a port of Shenmue 2 for the
Right.
Xbox.
It was Dreamcast 2. Xbox is Dreamcast 2.
It's literally Xbox is literally
much,
Dreamcast 2. Not only because look at the button design. If you look at the button design of the Xbox, not the Beast one, not this one,
the same thing,
not the Beast one,
Yeah.
but this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
This controller, right? The idea, the concept. This looks similar, almost similar to what the Dreamcast controller looks like. If you look at the shape,
right?
There's a lot of concepts.
The Dreamcast itself looks like a smaller Xbox.
Exactly.
Different drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
The technology of the Ethernet cable. Literally, the Dreamcast was their guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
Because they actually
back then.
That's exactly what it is.
Because on the Dreamcast, if you look on the side, they have this little piece right here that you can detach. If I can try to detach it, I can't even detach it.
Don't drop it. Don't drop it.
I'm not gonna drop it. Come on.
Oh man, dude, that's gonna hurt.
You're making me nervous. You're making me nervous.
Okay. So this piece right here is detachable. So this piece right here is detachable. They actually have an Ethernet version of this, which was genius. So they actually started with a regular, dial by numbers, little port right there, and they had an Ethernet version of this. A guy was gonna sell it to me on eBay and everything, but I found out that they overpriced it and said, that I changed my mind.
Oh.
But that's pretty much the start of it. And then of course, as we go on, that's when Sega was kind of like, oh yeah, let's start throwing some games out there, man. And that's exactly what they're doing. So many amazing games. And it's just so sad. I mean, Otogi. I forgot about that game. Otogi. The Otogi 1 and 2. They actually brought those games, and From Software, hey, let's bring them into the fray. I would say Otogi is one of those games that's like really, really hard. It wasn't like a Souls-like. There was no such thing. But I would say that's pretty much the groundwork for it because it was really hard. That game is hard. It is. It's hard. Cheap deaths. But so good. So good. If you have not played Otogi, it's actually backwards compatible if you can get your hands on it. I don't think the game is. I think the game might be available to buy. I'm not too sure. I don't think so. Maybe not. But I have both of those games on my console right now. And every now and again, I would actually play it. As a matter of fact, I think I got a lot of freaking Sega games that that I have downloaded on my console that I can play right now. Everything that I mentioned is actually on my console right now. And I tell people all the time. I said, listen, you know what? Sega is just has it. It does. Fast forward to a couple of years ago.
Oh, he's available. $19.99 on Xbox.
Yes, absolutely.
It's available to play, everyone. So if you get a chance, check it out.
Definitely.
Sega went in bed with Microsoft again. Why? Because there's a lot of great games that they brought to the great service called Game Pass. They brought Yakuza to the mainstream.
Yes.
If they did not do, and I tell people this all the time, if they did not bring Yakuza to Game Pass, Yakuza would not be as big as it is today. I don't care how many people you say, oh no, but it's still popular. No, it would not have been popular because Yakuza was a niche title. It was available for the PlayStation 2, migrated to the PlayStation 3, some of the titles, right? But it still was a trickle. It wasn't even that big of a push. Some of the games like the later versions were available in Japan only.
Right.
Never came to the States. Wasn't even translated.
Mm-hmm.
And because Microsoft took a bet, a big bet, and just said, listen, why don't we have a service that you can be able to put games on there so you can pay one monthly fee and play hundreds of games? What did they went to our buddy Sega and said, hey, we got a great service and stuff like that. First, they were kind of skeptical on it because they said, okay, well, your Xboxes are not really selling that well. And they said, why would you want to go into that service?
Right.
So, but they actually hedged their bets, and they said, you know what? It's a sure thing. What do? They travel to Japan. They talk to all the Japanese developers, including Sega, and all the subsidiaries. They talk to Atlas. They talk to Ryoku Group, or what's it called again? Ryoku?
You gotta go to group.
Ryoku, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They talked to all of them. And they said, hey, and they talked about networks and stuff like that. You know what? Japan loves networks. Japan loves having, games available to the masses because, Japan is very fast moving. They don't have time for all that other nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So this right here was a sure thing. This is a sure bet. And that's exactly what happened. I know we're kind of getting into overtime, but there's so much to go into. But seriously,
there's so much.
But people have to know. This is good stuff. So Now, but let's fast forward to today. Basically, because the groundwork for all that stuff is reason why games today with Shinobi Art of Vengeance, with Streets of Rage 4, Streets of Rage 4. Let's talk. Listen, Streets of Rage 4 was a miracle. People don't realize
That
this.
totally opened the door.
Yeah.
It really did. Sega literally was going to abandon Streets of Rage 4. But you know what? A great company. You
By
know,
the name of Lizard Cube.
there's Lizard Cube.
Those
They took. That's right. They took a risk. They came and they collaborated with all the greatest musicians, including Yuzo Koshiro, and also composers from Castlevania series.
That's why it was so good.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they created Streets of Rage 4 to the modern ages. And they won in spades. They sold so many copies of that game. The soundtrack is legendary. The gameplay, unbelievable. Nostalgic, but still modern. My God. You can't beat that.
Especially with Lizard Cube when they won their next game. Because they did hint it though. If you remember in Streets of Rage 4,
that's right. There's in the background. That's right. In one of the stages, yes.
There's an art graffiti of Joe Versace, and I don't want to spoil this for you guys though. But if you play Shinobi Art of Vengeance, if you play the Neo City stage, you will see some references, and you're gonna be thinking, oh, this could be the next game that Sega will allow Lizard Cube to do next though, which I'm hoping it will be, but only time will tell though. But I'd rather for you guys to check it out and play it yourselves. So that's what I'm gonna say about that.
Absolutely, and and that brings us to today. Sega fought wars. They had their ups, they had their downs, and then they had their knockdown. But you know what? All they did was put Sega to sleep for a short period of time. Basically, you know what happens when you poke the bear?
Yeah, but
Sega woke up from its power nap. They woke up from their power nap, and now they're ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Now Sega isn't just going to be focusing on just Sonic games and Yakuza games. Don't get me wrong. I love the Yakuza Like a Dragon games. I do. But
oh yeah,
Sega. But yeah, but Sega.
Done, though.
Exactly. Sega. You got so many IPs that's been put away on the shelf for so long. Bring them back, and I'm glad they're doing that right now.
I really do. And you know what though? This right now. And now it's the time. Now it's time that Sega is now they're already starting to lay the groundwork for they're starting to lay the groundwork for their big return. And you know what? They're doing it in spades. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is actually having great reviews. People who are playing it right now are having a great time. They love it. It's that action that they actually crave. 2D challenge, replayability. You know, which is a big term now. A lot of people just kind of fall to the side. Replayability is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now Sega is actually going to go all out. We can't wait until the next Crazy Taxi comes out, until the next Golden Axe comes out, till the remake of Streets of Rage comes out. And of course, let's not forget Jet Set Radio.
Yep.
And then, of course, they have other titles that they're hinting them bringing back. There is a list of IPs, possible IPs that they're looking at right now. And we already mentioned it a few. Johnny actually mentioned a few. You know?
Yeah.
Kid Chameleon, bringing that back.
Ultra Beast.
Alex Kidd, bringing that back. Oh my God.
Yes. Nice.
Yeah, I think there was if I'm not mistaken, I think there was a new Alice Kid that came out a couple years ago.
Oh, wasn't
There
a remake?
is,
It was
there
like a
is. I
remake,
didn't
right?
get
It
around
wasn't
to
like
it
a
yet, but there
remaster
is.
or remake or something like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it looks good.
I did play that recently.
It does look good, yeah. But yeah, I never got a chance to play that though. But I just want to put
The
that out
original's
there.
packaged in with it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
want to play the original? It's in it. It's part of it too.
Virtua Fighter. Let's talk about Virtua Fighter.
Oh, the new Virtua Fighter.
The new Virtua
That should
Fighter.
be nuts.
Dude, Virtua, bruh, come on, man.
Well, fighting games is
Virtua
like
Fighter
a variety.
Revo. Virtua Fighter Revo, the first of its kind, a cross-play version of Virtua Fighter with rollback netcode. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, they're not.
Virtua Fighter is back in a big way. And they're even contemplating on actually doing a compilation of all of the Virtua Fighter games. If they do that,
Oh God.
He's at a loss for words.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't be surprised if they get it done.
Shut up and take my money.
yes,
Is that your wallet?
exactly. That's my wallet. Take my money.
Oh God.
Take it all. I want that game. Oh my gosh. Because listen, I love Virtua Fighter. It's pure. It's such a pure. It's like so. It's like that kind of hard gameplay. It's a thinking man's
More
game.
realistic than the others.
None of those bells and whistles and all that knockdown and comeback. No, it's all about okay. What you're going to do next? It's a game of chess. Punch, kick, sidestep. What are you going to do? Throw? What are you going to do?
It's the blood sport of fighting games.
Yes.
3D
And
fighting.
you don't have the wall to save you.
Pure and
sometimes.
raw.
Yeah.
You know. And I would love for them to actually give a little bit of love to Fighting Vipers. I mean, Fighting Vipers was another great game, and Last Bronx, another great game. These are other games. I forgot about those games.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember those games. Yeah.
Bring him into the Virtua Fighter universe. Why not?
Yeah.
They're the same universe. Bring him over into the game.
Of course.
Don't
And then of course they
waste
had Virtua Fighter Kids, but that's like pretty much like a kid's version of that.
Oh yeah.
But,
it was pretty funny though.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Of course.
Those kids go hard, dude. They beat each other up
man,
like
let me
they're
tell you
hard.
something. It really is.
Of course they do.
Huh?
It felt like the
Of
same
course they
game.
do.
It felt like the same game. They just looked different.
Yeah, it's
They
just
played exactly
yeah.
the same as Virtua.
Exactly. But yeah, let me tell you. But jeez, Oh, thank you for everyone who's following. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, also hit that bell notification if you want to see more content from us. We have a lot of great things that we're going to be showing, especially on Sunday. We'll give you those details of what we're going to be talking about because next month is going to be a big month. We got another game we're going to do a deep dive on, and of course in October, because it's all about Halloween, but it's actually going to be the month of the Ninja because Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out. Yes, Ninja Gaiden 4,
I've already
the
got
fourth in the series. Oh my goodness! With the new protagonist of the of Ryu Hayabusa's disciple, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be so good.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it about Sega. Please leave a comment. Let me know what was your first Sega game that you ever played. Was there great memories that you actually had? Arcade-wise, console-wise, what consoles do you still carry? Do you still have a Sega console line somewhere? Do you still have their games? Do you have their games and no console? Do you have the console but no games?
Yep.
Let me know. And also, let me know what other games that you're actually going to be getting, getting in the future. The new games. Did you pick up the copy of Shinobi Art of Vengeance? Are you looking forward to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which is coming out next month? Let us know. I'm very, very curious to find out. So, that's it. That's a wrap for this show. We actually already went pretty much about 30 minutes overtime, but you know what? It's all for the culture. It's all for the culture. It's all for the culture.
It's
So
just fun. People are still here. Let's give them a show.
absolutely. So any last words from you guys before we roll out of here?
Yeah. To be frank, man, I'm a little disappointed we didn't get to cover the Sega Master System. That's where most of my gaming came from. Not the arcade. That
Hey,
age
listen,
range, I
what?
was at home with the Sega
Well,
Master
no,
System. We got to do an episode covering that.
Yeah,
We got to
we
show
did
the love for.
We did cover the
Ben,
Master
we kind of
System.
glanced over it, no?
No, we did. We actually covered some of the games already.
I tell you what. I tell you what.
The Master System.
I want to be able to give the Tony a little bit of the floor on the Sega Master System because I know there's actually a big part of his childhood that he has to bring out because I can see it right there and there's a little spark in his eye. So why don't you go ahead and give that love? Yeah. Give that love. Listen, this is all about Sega tonight. This is all about Sega tonight. Give me that love. I want you to tell me about that love of that Sega Master System. Trust me. Tell me.
Oh no, I want to save it. I want to save it for another show because
go ahead.
I'll be on here for another hour.
Okay.
Listen, we could do a whole episode. The Sega Master System versus Nintendo days. You remember those days?
I do.
Arguing with our buddies which one was better.
I
want to cover that time.
Okay. As a matter of fact, good fun fact. Here's a fun fact for you. I remember when I was in grade school.
Good games like Mega Man.
In grade school.
Right.
Everyone was talking about Nintendo. There was only one dude. I remember him to this very day. He had a little earring, he had an earring, he had a flat top and all that stuff. He brought in the Sega magazine. Okay? First of its kind.
Sega Visions. Wow.
That's right. Sega Visions. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I actually opened it up and I was looking at the magazine. I was like, oh, snap. Look at this. They had Shinobi on there. They had Thunderblade. Oh my gosh, Thunderblade. Another great game. They talked about Alien Syndrome and a few other games too. And then they talked about future games. And then I saw that little blip saying coming soon, Double Dragon.
Yep.
My eyes lit up like Times Square. I said, Double Dragon? 2-player simultaneous action. It said it right there on the side of the box and everything. It was a box. It wasn't even, the game wasn't even out yet. So they were going to talk about that. Then I remember the commercial. Get yourself the Sega Master System and you will get Double Dragon free.
There's commercials on YouTube for that.
Yep. Get it? Got it. Good. Sega knew how to market this stuff, and Sega was no. We're actually gonna do another episode. We're gonna do a fun episode of the thing with about game commercials. Sega's gonna be a big part of that, but there's a lot of game commercials that we want to talk about. So we're gonna pick some of our favorites, and we'll run it on our show, and then we'll talk about it. And we're gonna have a good time with that one. So,
play Party Hunt later now.
Oh gosh, yes. Listen, we got shows for days.
Sega, I could go on forever, especially that era, the '80s, like Sega Master System era. I could go on for days.
Listen, we lived the good life. Okay, video games was like even though it was nerd culture, it was our culture. And Johnny, do you have any last words before we actually break out of here? Johnny?
Yep.
You have any last words before we get out of here?
I just want to say that this was a pretty fun episode. I'm sorry I had the camera off though. I have a little bit of a cough though, so.
Okay, no big deal.
So it is, yes. If everybody wants to wonder why I don't have the camera on me, I just don't want to. I don't want people seeing me like getting all coughed up. So.
It's all good.
But yeah, no, this was a fun episode. Talking about Sega, especially they're on the rise right now. Especially they have their games coming out with Art Adventures that came out this week or this came out this week, and the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Especially that game, I'm looking forward to because it's got my boy Ichibod from the Like a Dragon series. And let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and yes, and let me tell you something. I guarantee you, I think this is gonna happen. I think Joe Musashi is gonna be a character in that game because he was in a racing game before. So I guarantee you, he's gonna be one of the characters that's gonna be in that game.
You
So
know
as
what?
a
I wouldn't
DLC.
be. I would not be too surprised. I would not be too surprised,
Yeah,
not one bit, if they actually bring him
yeah,
back. And
yeah,
and Sonic Racing. This all those question marks that you saw in one of the previews. Come on, the
yeah, yeah.
DLC and also
Especially the website.
yes,
Yeah.
and come on. There's no damn way.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it's all
Sorry.
right. There's, there's no darn way that they're not. Because I mean, this is a back catalog. I mean, this you have Bayonetta. They haven't touched on. That yeah, we could
Right,
go on and
Bayonetta
on.
could be.
Billy Hatcher.
Yeah, Bayonetta could be.
Yeah, Billy
Yeah.
Hatcher. That's another character they could
Mhm.
have. I mean, they still haven't shown anybody from Jet Set Radio yet. Where's Beat?
Yeah, Beat is possible. Hey, they could probably
You
have
know Amigo's
Axel
gonna
from.
show up, right?
Yeah,
In
some
it?
of the Mingo. Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Is he in it?
Oh yeah.
He'd be perfect character put in with characters like that.
You
He
know,
looks like he's from the
Yeah.
Sonic universe.
it's
Right.
crazy, man. You know,
Hey,
and Alex
they
Kidd.
could put
Why
Alex
not?
Kidd could be one. Hey, probably crazy. They could probably put Axel Stone from Streets of Rage. That's
Oh,
one.
I would not put it. I would not
If
put it
Ichiban's
past
in there,
them.
why not?
I would not put it past
Yeah.
them.
If Ichiban's in there, why not?
They have to.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on, man. If they put Axel or Blaze, they could put Blaze in there. Throw a little diversity in there. Why not? That would be cool.
Right.
Sega put Kiryu in Super Monkey Ball. Anything's possible.
Oh
Right.
yes, yes,
I remember
I.
that.
Yes.
And
It was pretty
I
funny
think,
for some reason. I don't know
yeah,
why.
it was funny, and I think Majima was in there too as well.
That's
Oh.
right. They both were.
Yeah.
It's just silly. I love stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
cool.
Bring it on. And of course, they didn't bring Ula La yet. So Ula La is another character they could throw in there. I mean, gosh, we for days, characters, all of them. So, anyways, that's it. That's all we got for you. So, so you want to say your goodbyes and everything, or we just want to break out of here?
I just want to say, Sega, welcome back. We missed you. Come on in.
That's it. Thank you for bringing back all your other IPs, though, not leaving them in the shelf any longer, instead of just bringing us Sonic and Yakuza games. Thank you.
And thanks to our pals in the chat too. Thank them, man. They're hanging out.
Oh
Right
yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You got a lot of viewers. Got a lot of new viewers.
Alan Dorian, yeah.
Please
Yeah.
hit that like and subscribe button. Please, hit that bell notification. We got a lot in the chamber. If you want to support us, you can always go to our Patreon. And of course, we do also have a couple of shops that you can visit. We have our Redbubble. You can go over there. You can get our merch. Some of our artwork's actually available. I'm actually going to be doing something with Displate and everything, but that's a little, on the side. I'm working with them about that. And of course, our awesome drinks. If you actually go on to w.bb, you can be able to, you'll be able to get yourself a 10% discount by putting in the code word Treble. That is TR3BLE. You get 10% off your first drink, first order. It's I'm sorry, WGG. Sorry about that. And go on there and check out the amazing drinks. I heard there was like zero crash. It's not like no caffeine, no major caffeine. It's actually very good for you. It has none of the sugar or any of that stuff in there. It's actually none of those antipartine or whatever the heck that sugar alternative is. It's actually all pure energy. It's actually very, very good. And that's it for us. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Please come by Sunday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Twitch. And also you can go on, I think I'm trying to get on X as well. So if you can, please come on in. Stay awesome. Keep leveling up. And we will see you next time on the next Gaming Treble. Have a fantastic night, everyone.
You're all amazing. See you soon.
Yeah. Have a good night, guys. Players, thanks for tuning in.